Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, my people. Can you hear me? 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 Testing. 1, 2, 3. Microphone check. Mic check. Jeffrey, as usual. Yes, yes, yes. Listen, folks. Um, we're having some technical difficulty. It's not unusual around here on a Saturday or anytime we broadcast. Everything was fine. Everything was fine. Everything was fine up to about an hour ago. And now we're getting ready and we're having some difficulty. But anyway, big up yourself, Jeffrey Tavares. But anyway, Kevin, where you there is in the background. And in my the thing work over at Reggae Global Radio and also on YouTube. So, without further ado, thanks for tuning in to Reason with Rattigan, the place where we educate the people and hold government accountable. Let me start off by saying big up to all the mothers in advance. And just remember, people, just remember, Christopher said, fly the gate. Okay, well, fly the gate, Christopher. Just remember this about Mother's Day, people. Every day is Mother's Day. Every single day is Mother's Day. Hear them say, mother's baby, father's maybe. We know that going to Jamaica. But I want you to look at all the mothers from the perspective that every day is their day. Every day, a Mother's Day. Don't ever forget that. You know what my mother, God bless her soul, you know what my mother used to tell me? She used to say, don't wait until I'm dead to say all the beautiful words you want to say to me. Don't wait until I'm dead to buy flowers and all of these things. Do them now. Do them now. So for all the mothers out there, big up on yourself. And all of the children, fathers, and etc. Take care of the mothers them every single day. Don't mothers look, if you think about it, you're going to say Mother's Day is I will celebrate mothers on Valentine's Day. Yeah, some other women they don't have any children. But anyway, Mother's Day we kind of celebrate on Valentine's Day, Christmas, and Mother's Day. So you'll tell me, say your mother spent all of that time. She gave birth to you. Wash your clothes, cook your food, send it to school, do everything. And you only pick 3 days out of the year and say, them days I'm going to celebrate with my mother. No, man. No. No. And I'm spending a little bit of time on this because it means a lot to me. Because my mother and I, we were very close. And almost everywhere I went in the world, I took my mom with me. And she went places I've never been because she was a traveler. But people, take care of the mothers. Big up on yourself. No, Malcolm X said education is the passport to the future. For tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. Education is a passport to the future. For tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. Very profound words. So today, get ready to be educated. Pen and paper time. That right here, me, pen and paper time. Because we know you have your crew on the veranda already. All right? Merle, big up yourself. All of the Manchester crew. All of my people in St. Anne, St. Thomas, Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine, St. Elizabeth, St. Bess, of course. Right? Westmoreland, Hanover, Trelawney, St. Mary, Clarendon, from the length and breadth of Jamaica, all over. Big up on yourself this Saturday. My nephew from out of St. Thomas who are watching them family, big up yourself. We're not calling a name here, sir. All right? But you know who me at. Big up yourself. You know what? Let me go to producer June slide. Where the slide on there, Kevin? You believe that the day that me not have it in front of me is the day that we not put it up. But while Kevin have put that up, I want to show you a couple of things. Let's start with this. You remember Marissa Dalrymple Philibert, the one who said she never owned a Mercedes, then she owned a Mercedes, but she never drive the Mercedes, but she drive it some other times, and then she pled guilty. Somebody sent me a video, and it sounds as if there is some arrangement. There is some arrangement being made for votes. Take a listen.
With the laborers, listen to me. So what I'm doing now is looking for the people who every election go and then never get a card here. And I would like to help you give those people. Because every vote of the same vote. And I'm going to tell you now, if you are in the area and you are a worker and you have been taking out a whole lady from a home from what we give to them, and you're not sure if they get nothing. Take the person's name and KRN number. And if they're old and not happy, take them down and KRN number and go to the office in and say, Miss Basic, and if they have get bad, anything about them, and let us see how we can help. So that is what you have to do. Now, not saying all those who have their grandson and their sons, if they have not voted, they can't get the job. No care how hard you work. Because if another person comes, a young man that has voted in the last by-election, or in the parish council, and you have your good grandson and you work for me from me come here, me can't give me, I have to go give the man vote. I'm telling you that. When you have your children and your grandchildren and your grandson them, make them go for vote. Yes. Because plenty people have vote. And if you vote, me I will give you before you can. So what
That sounds the borderline. I like you trying to, I don't know, quid pro quo. It sounds like it. This is not the full video, I must say that, but it doesn't sound good. Doesn't sound good. Doesn't sound good. And especially coming from somebody who just pled guilty. You know, this doesn't sound good. And I hope the JLP hierarchy, I hope they're watching this and they take appropriate action. No, we know they won't. We know they won't. But at least I hope they talk to her and say, listen, if you're going to do this, don't do it in public. Because this we're going to play over and over. We're going to try to get the entire video to see what exactly was said in terms of context. This is crazy, people. Now I have another one to show you. Another one to show you. Let me move her.
A lot of incidents that we've seen playing out on social media where citizens are complain, let me use the word complain, of police officers compelling them to give up the password for their cell phones. We've also seen instances where citizens are ticketed for the daylight running lights on the cars, as well as the fog lamps. Can you indicate, sir, the legality of, well, I'm not say the legality, but the basis on which a police officer would, for example, demand a citizen's passport to their phone, the legal basis, and the basis on which a citizen is ticketed for a daylight running light on their vehicle?
Commissioner Comfort, don't come forward, but I want the question of ask for the password.
That's wrong.
It's wrong, but something that policemen have an interest to do, because scamming is what is causing our problem.
Yes.
You hear what I'm saying? This man actually agrees with the premise that citizens can be compelled to turn over passwords for their phone to police officers without, and he didn't even give a context. You believe, and this is the Minister of National Security, Kevin McGann. Kevin. Oh, hold on. Hello? Yeah, so people, let me just play this Sorry, Kevin. Let me just play this over a little bit. Hold on a second. Let me just stop right there.
But I want the question of ask for the password.
Lights on the cars, as well as the fog lamps. Can you indicate, sir, the legality of, well, I'm not say the legality, but the basis on which a police officer would, for example, demand a citizen's passport to their phone, the legal basis, and the basis on which a citizen is ticketed for a daylight running light on their vehicle?
Commissioner Comfort, don't come forward, but I want the question of ask for the password. It's wrong, but something that policemen have an influence to do, because scamming is what is causing our problem.
Yes.
Right.
Good question. Thank you for those questions, because they give me the opportunity to speak on them. Let me first say there's a process. There's a process, and the process certainly is not coercing someone on that scene to give up their password. There's a process, and it is a court order has to be made, and so it is not right. It's not legal. Let me just say that clear. And we have since communicated to our members when that came to our attention that has been a practice.
See, you see what happened there, folks? The Minister of National Security, he's saying it's wrong, but he's saying, yeah, the police have a legitimate need because of scamming and they want to find out. No, if you have a legitimate need, you go to court, sir. There's a process for doing that. You don't take the law into your own hands. You don't do that. And this is coming from our Minister of National Security. This, people, this, if you had any doubts about his mindset, as far as the law is concerned, or enforcement of the law is concerned, that doubt should be clearly removed now, because you heard it from his own mouth. And what happened? The police commissioner was wise enough to get up there and say, no, there's a process. You can't just ask people, you can't just tell, you can't compel people to give you the password for their phones. So I'm telling all of you in Jamaica, if you get stopped by the police and they ask you, they ask you for the password to your phone, the answer is going to be no. The answer is going to be no. No, if they have a court order, that's different. If they have a court order, that's different. Then you have to comply. But if they're asking you, it means they don't have a court order, because when they have a court order, they'll just tell you. And if you don't give it to them, then there'll be consequences. But these are the times we're living in, you know. All right, I could just go to the stage thing and all. Producer Joan, big up yourself. Hey, happy Mother's Day, people, in advance, tomorrow. But remember, every day is Mother's Day. Every day. All right, today, interview and interrogation techniques. And we have politicians beware. Because here's what we're going to do. We're going to show you what politicians should be doing to hold government accountable. When I say politicians, I'm talking about your elected representatives. You know, the ones who sit on the oversight committee to make sure that things are done in accordance with the law, regulations, edict, whatever. But they don't do it in Jamaica, or they don't do it enough, or they don't go deep enough. They don't do it the way it's supposed to be done. So what I've done, producer Joan and Kevin and others, we have gone to a country that is similar to Jamaica in terms of crime and corruption. And we have looked at what they're trying to do to hold government and public officials accountable. And it's very startling what they're trying to do. And these things have gone viral. And we're going to show you how it's done in terms of interview and interrogation techniques, because you just don't get up and ask questions like that. There is a style, there's a technique, there's a method, there's a way of doing it. And I can tell you how I was trained, taught, and how I executed. But I need you also to see how it's done. Now, what we're going to show you today, because we're going to split up the program into segments, and Kevin will come on and talk to you about the segments, because we're going to go off the air for about 15 minutes and then we're going to come back on so that people can get a break, including yours truly. Now, what we will show you two distinctly different styles. We'll show you one where the person actually did the homework, the person looked at the numbers, the person figured out what was going on, and then asked some questions. And the way the questions were asked, they were asked as if they were just taking you down a path. But the people answering the questions, they didn't know, because they're not used to this. These are two young politicians, by the way. And the first one, you'll see where the first one we're going to build up. It's kind of slow, but you'll see how the build-up is done, because he spent the time, he looked at the numbers, he did all the investigation, did the research, and you'll see how the questions are phrased. And they're phrased in time, they're phrased in a way so that you can't, whether you answer yes or no, it's a wrong, it's a bad answer. That's one. Then we're going to show you another one now where the questioning is based on just information provided: who, what, when, where, why, how. Equally effective, especially when you have people who have not been held accountable and now they're sitting in the hot seat. Trust me. And I will narrate as we go along, because there's certain things when you hear them asking certain questions, you know that they know the answers. And what is the number one rule? The number one rule is, as best you can, ask questions that you know the answer to. It won't happen all the time, but as best you can, seek out the answers, do your own research, seek out the answers first, and then once you get the answers, then you can ask questions, because you know, when you hear the answers, you will know, but you need to do some homework first. All right, so we're going to go through that. Then we're going to look at the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs, and we're going to show you how it's a shameful and colossal waste of taxpayers' money. I'm going to show you how unprepared the government was. And I'm not only going to be focused on the government on this one, I'm going to be focused on the opposition. And when I say opposition, I'm not only talking about the opposition in Parliament, because there is opposition outside Parliament. Civil society, academia, community organizations, diaspora, all of us, we are opposition. Whether you like it or not, we are opposition, because we're there to hold government accountable. And when we say hold government accountable, unlike what Morgan said, we're not trying to bring down government. We're trying to have government do a course correction and do what is right, do what they promised to do what's in the best interest of the country. That's the purpose of holding government accountable. But they don't like that, because they're used to free reign, just do whatever they want to do and just bad up everybody, with arrogance. Well, that won't happen. That will not happen. So we're going to talk about the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs and show why that ministry should have never been formed in the first place. And then next one, we have editor, senator. We say editor because he was an editor before he became senator, and that's Marlon Morgan. So we're going to look at him, the Prime Minister HOLNESS, the government of Jamaica, what they're doing, conference speeches, manifestos, and what we hope to show you. No, I am supremely confident we're going to show you revelations of arrogance, ignorance, unfulfilled promises, misrepresentations, deception, and we say and could be anything. And could be hypocrisy, could be human rights violations, be anything. But stay tuned for that. And then cryptocurrency, we're going to have a presentation today. And the question is this an investment vehicle for you? We had one a while back. We have another one. And we're going to put in our disclaimer when we start the presentation. So you'll know that we're not endorsing it. It's brought to you for informational purposes only so that you know what's going on out there. But at the end of the day, the decision to invest or not is completely yours. And we've been going through critical thinking around here for quite some time now. So you know what questions to what questions to ask when you hear the presentation. You know the questions to ask. And the gentleman doing the presentation is looking forward to your questions. All right. Yeah, today it's yours truly. Kevin is here, but Kevin is going to take the mic now because Kevin won't be with us for much longer today, and we'll go from there. Our guest is Marvin Edgar. He will be doing the piece on cryptocurrency, and he was here last week. It's anticipated that he'll be back. Highly anticipated because he confirmed his appearance today. So that's where we are. And engagement norms, active listener, use the time effectively. You know it. We don't tolerate indecency around here. We don't tolerate interruptions and the distractions. So if you're gonna come around here and you have a question to ask, then please ask your question, but do it in a civil fashion. In fact, we're gonna open up the phone line today because we want to hear from you, because we realize that a lot of you tune in on a Saturday, but you don't necessarily tune in on a Wednesday, and so you have questions and they don't get answered, and sometimes you put them in the chat and we don't see them, or we see them but by the time we get to them it's too late. So we're going to be opening up the phone line so you can I just love this t-shirt. It says Morgan, and it's pronounced Magan. It's an adjective and prone to making mistakes. I love this t-shirt. I love this t-shirt. Producer Joan, I think you outdid yourself with this one here. I've been getting calls from people who said they just love how it's laid out, like the Webster's dictionary, how they lay out words and the parts of speech,
definition,
the definition and all of that, and how to pronounce it. I really love that. All right, we're gonna skip. We don't want to show so much. Oh, when we get to Editor Morgan, we're gonna be the t-shirts. I'm Morgan doing Morgan things. By the way, we should never forget this gentleman here.
I've always said to people, do not trust the words of politicians. Do not trust the words of politicians.
That's another Morgan. Doing what? Morgan things.
Morgan things.
The Prime Minister have a knack for finding Morgans. I don't know where he find them people are from, but they're not doing him justice at all. Let me see. Sita people, straight out of Waterhouse where I come from. Straight out of Waterhouse. All my Waterhouse people, the go pays big up on yourself. All of the people them down from Shuka Road, from Penwood Road, Penwood Crescent, Dilson Avenue, Colleen, Erie, the whole Bee Farm Road, the Savitry Road, Bagger Road, the whole hour. Big up on
I wrote that.
All right, sir. So, Kevin, there's one quote from last week. It's about rich people, poor people, essentially kowtowing to rich people, even though rich people are the cause of their demise. I don't know if you can pull up the one from last week.
Yeah, the one from last week is here.
Yeah. Pastor Ricky John with two people. I'm there. The man who call a spade. Exactly that. Big up yourself, Pastor Ricky.
Blessings, Pastor Ricky.
You're muted.
Good evening, good afternoon, Sir Rattigan. The man who have them now sleep at night time.
Because him not sleep at night time.
Yeah. It's 3, 4 o'clock a morning requests. Have them up and scratch them in. Where him up to now?
No, but Kevin, I say selfish, because Kevin, I say because me can't sleep, me I keep up everybody.
Well, somebody have to keep up the government for make them know so we are aware and we're watching them, scrutinizing.
Yeah.
Lessons, DJ Kevin Stew. The
Much
man
love,
with
man.
God bless everyone in the chat. Happy Mother's Day. Every day we should celebrate our mothers, but unfortunately they only designate one day a year to celebrate mothers. So happy Mother's Day to everyone in the chat. Bless you.
And we know a lot of people, a lot of people have influence in Jamaica. Watch the program, whether them agree or them disagree. Them watch because here's what happen. Them come around here and them learn. Around here and learn. Let me see if Kevin, if this one have it on. Let me see. I think it have it on. There's one thing I want to show you. Where is it? This is it. This is the slide I want to show you. The worst part of a society manipulated by politics is to see the poor defending the rich who are responsible for their poverty. People, this is so profound. This hits the heart of the matter.
Yeah.
Right to the heart of the matter. The worst part of a society manipulated by politics, which is Jamaica, is to see poor people defending rich people who are responsible for their poverty. And then promise you prosperity, and you just suck onto it, your thumb suck it. And every time them come around, prosperity, and meanwhile you sink in the depths of poverty. And you still a carry on. Still a carry on. Let me show you what we are talking about. Kevin, me send you a last video. If you can put that up, because I'll go with the two of me I go show now. I'll go with the two of me I show.
I got you.
Yeah. Maybe just go on, because we have 3 videos to show you. 3 videos about one person, one minister. And you're going to see that when we talk about the worst part of a society manipulated by politics is to see the poor defending the rich who are responsible for their poverty. We're going to see it. Pastor Ricky. Oh, hold on. You know what?
Go on with the first one.
No, let me just a couple of things here. Kevin, going to talk about how we're going to split the show in segments today. So it's like doing 2 or 3 shows, and then we have the phone call section. So you'll see. So it gives people a chance to get up. And also, when if you want to go back and view the show, instead of viewing a 7-hour, 9-hour show or whatever, you'll view this. You just go to the segment that you want, so you don't have to watch the whole thing. So it's about structure, and or other times I say structure. So that is what we're hoping for, and we intend to do around here today. Now, relax with the rebel. Thanks to all of you who watched the program last week, Saturday night. And we're going to edit the program, edit the music, so that you can watch the show on YouTube. Because if you recall, that's one of the reasons why we did it on Reggae Global Radio, because we wanted to play some very topical songs. And we played Well Done, Mr. Politician Man, which was so appropriate for the program. But we can't play that on YouTube. So we're going to edit the other songs we played, and then put it up on YouTube. You can watch it. Relax with the rebel. Tonight, neither Kevin nor I will be on tonight for our shows. And Kevin will go into it a little bit more. As I said, Kevin won't be with us for much longer today because he has an engagement he must attend to. And he's like Sunday. Kevin and I talked about doing a program tomorrow, but in light of Mother's Day, we decided not to, because people want to take out their mothers and do all kinds of things. So tune in next Sunday. Come Reason with Rattigan. That's our Wednesday program. And Dr. Ben was unable to appear this past Wednesday. So we did a show about the political scene in Jamaica. We didn't talk about herbs. I'm very unqualified to talk about herbs. And I just want to say, Miss P and the crew, thanks for your invaluable contribution to the program. Very, very spicy program on a Wednesday. We don't have the same amount of people that we have here on a Saturday, but trust me, if you haven't watched it, give us a shot. Just come over and take a look. I want to big up producer OT because OT, I mean, very involved. It's not a, you get the sense sometimes that, I get the sense it's not a part-time thing for her. She's very, very invested in this. And as I said last week, sometimes she called me and she said, hey, have you done this? Have you done that? And truth be told, we not do it. But it's like something want to hear, you just don't want. It's like sometimes I said, boy, I can't. What you kill me, she'll beat me down, She said, no, you have to do it because we have to get it up and blah, 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 blah. And then that is inspiration from me because when I look and say, look, here's somebody with a full-time job, This is a professional. I won't talk about her profession, but she's a full-time professional. And she's squeezing the time to say, okay, for Wednesday show, you need to do this. You need to do that. You need to get this person. Here are the topics. So, OT, I just want you to know from the depths of my heart, I truly, truly appreciate everything that you do, including when you including when you just poke me. Believe me, I appreciate it. All right. Again, big up all the mothers, including the stepmothers and the fathers who are also mothering children. We can't forget that some men are mothers too, because for whatever reason the mothers are not around through death or travel or whatever. So we have to big up everybody who's acting in the role of a mother, and it's not necessarily a female. Sometimes you have a big brother who act like a mother to take care of the rest of the children. So we have to big up all other people who are mothering. We have to big up all of them. Prayers up for Papa Trevor. Mapi, I was supposed to see you yesterday, Mapi. Somebody said to me, Mapi, I got box it when you see you because every week you say, Mapi, may I see you next week? I don't know. So Mapi, I was supposed to see you yesterday, but you know what happened. So there we go. Margene, big up yourself, Margene, if you give me a call, all right? And by the way, these two ladies are like my mothers. So tomorrow, them know them I get them called. If no at that time, we call them throughout the year, but them know tomorrow, But we don't just do it for Mother's Day. We kind of make Mother's Day a little bit special, but me call them, these two women, me call them all the time. Desmond, big up yourself. Paul, Bunny Jump, yes, sir, me know you're up on the line. Jonah Murray, get well soon. Short boss. Fireball, big up yourself, get well soon too. Jaranje, on the mend. Fittest the hardest dread, likewise. Mrs. Nelson, Bobby De Souza, yes, my brother. Mr. Baxter, hope all is well. Sassy Diva, Sassy, you can't do better than me. Raleigh, Danny Goops, and Roland, the valiant one. Of course, we have to big up our ambassadors. We're still working on the Magnitsky thing. We're still waiting on people to sign the petition. And last, certainly not least, our producer, the one, the only, you know her, you love her, producer Joan. Big up yourself, producer Joan. All right, now here is what we are going to do now. Kevin, you get it up? Sorry, I shouldn't say it that way there. Wait there, Kevin. Wait there.
Oh, I got caught up with you and your greetings. I do apologize, but go ahead and do the first one.
The first one? All right. Yeah. People, want to remember this?
River water. Fresh fish. I want a better combination. This is.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, do that again.
River water. Fresh fish. I want a better combination. This is one of the best parishes in Jamaica. You figure it out. Yes, sir. Somebody must stop.
Okay, see that, Kevin? Yeah, click on. All right, cool. All right. So you see the minister a while ago. I said, well, river water and fresh fish. I want to must figure it out. Because in my life, I'm not telling you where I'm there. Only must figure it out. Here's another one from the said minister.
Mr. Say you're going to make the $500. You're really good sale. Yes, I'm going to make you sell to me, you know. Yes, Mr. Election coming on, I'm going to make you campaign to me.
Now, people, you see the quote I just put up? Guarantee if you go to that lady, she not going to give you free paper like how she give the minister, you know. And you hear me tell her, I like how you sell, I like you're a good salesman, and I want you come do some things for me, and election coming up and blah, 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 blah. Right? Here he is again. So I tell people.
Yeah, so the one basket empty. The man is going to make some delivery.
But the thing is, people are dying.
Yeah.
People are dying in Jamaica. Him sit down a river with him foot in the river water and eat fish. We have him pan nigger out a nigger on the beach, a dance and a sing. We have him get a market now. I try score voters. I have him a ride bicycle. I mean, people, if you can't sit through this, if you can't sit through this, I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. Kevin, the floor is yours. Yes. Before we bring on Mr. Sauls.
All right, so real quick, this is a cameo appearance today. I have an event this evening, so I'll be parting company with you guys in just a little bit. Today's broadcast with Reason with Rattigan will be cut up in segments like Will alluded to earlier. Don't worry about it. You're all subscribed to Reason with Rattigan, so you're gonna see when it ends. You'll see when it restarts. It is important that you all that are on remind Will that the show is going to take a break. I know OT got him, Joan got him. This is a collective, yeah? We're a family around here. You don't have to be blood related to be family. You need to be blood related to be relatives, not to be family. And so, whereas I won't be here, y'all need to fill in for me, please, and thanks. I truly appreciate it. Big ups to the mothers again. Enough love to you. I love you every day, not just the day designated to celebrate you. I celebrate you all the time, and I celebrate mine up in heaven, looking down, looking across wherever heaven really is. But as she looks on, I know she's proud of me because she put in the work, and there's result. Yeah. So, there are those two things, and last week's broadcast, which Will mentioned, some people have been asking for it. It's coming. All right, it's coming. It will be uploaded to the Reason with Rattigan YouTube page, so you'll see it again when you're subscribed. You get these notifications, so you won't be missing out on anything. Just remember, tell Will, hey, break time. Important for him, important for you, more important for you if you want to continue getting information from him. But we're trying to make a little bit of a change in the dynamics, making sure that Ratty gets some other things done to make sure that the work of the One Jamaica Legal Defense Foundation is done optimally, which means the ATIs get filed, get submitted, the requests get submitted, the right requests get submitted, the follow-ups get put together, because I've seen where he's gotten some follow-ups, some responses to these ATIs. And you have to wonder if they looked at the last response that they gave when they gave this one. Especially to the people, Jamaica never short of content. So that's the kind of people we are. Pluto and Ernie have a track called That's the Kind of People We Are. And this is it. So OT wants to know what time the break is.
We're going. Okay.
Go ahead, Will.
Yeah, what we're going to do, we're going to talk about in interview and interrogation techniques. We're going to show you the different styles of asking questions. I'm going to set it up when Kevin finish, and then we'll go through it. Trust me, you're going to love the segment. We're going to start off slow, but then it's going to pick up, and I guarantee you're going to learn a lot from this. Now, keep in mind that this is politicians asking other politicians, asking public officials to give account.
To be accountable.
Right. And I know people are going to say, well, it's not in Jamaica, but here's what happened. You have a role to play as a citizen because you can talk to your councillor, you can talk to your MP. And what I would love to see is little groups form in different constituencies and say, no, we have an interest, and so we want to voice it. We want to know why is it that these questions are not being asked in Parliament. And you can have a little study group in every constituency. I would love to see that. No matter who is in power, we just want the people to be empowered. Kevin.
And I'll say this. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again, and I'll continue saying it. We need to move away from voting party and start paying attention to policy. You need to be voting policy. And the information that we present here should be assisting you. Sorry. The information we present here should assist you in making an informed decision, right? So when we're done, the only thing you should be confused about is why this not matching up with what was said at whichever point it was said, because chances are it doesn't match up. So go ahead, jot down your notes or jot down the time that you heard it so that you can go back to the broadcast and go back to the time and play it again and write down your notes and ask your questions. Do your own ATIs. Remember, JAMP has the portal where it makes it easy for you to request your own information, for you to file your own ATIs. So visit the JAMP page and go to where the section about access to information. I think that covers it for me. Whenever you see Will come off his screen, don't panic. He'll be back. There's the videos that he's going to be showing today are super informative. And like he said, people will say, but that is not how we operate in Jamaica. Here's the thing. That is how we should operate wherever you are in the world, where you have people that are representing the wider population. So once you have a parliament, a government body, these are the kind of questions that should be asked when they meet or when you meet with them. And you should demand their answers. Ratty. Rebel.
Pastor Ricky, anything before we jump in?
Yeah, I love the idea and the fact that the show is going to take interval breaks. I know while we're getting refreshment and some more popcorn, you probably be filing some ATIs in that break time.
You know him too well. You know him too well.
I mean, him keep the government on them toes, man. But yeah, that's a brilliant strategy. I would like to recommend that, you can try to get a few sponsors, business sponsors that you can add into the show as well to promote their business, and hopefully that can generate some revenue. So when you have to buy fix equipments, you need a new computer, or it can go to the One Jamaica Legal Defense Fund, getting sponsors to sponsor this program, because this program is so very informative. It's rich, as you always say every week. Jamaica is content rich, so you don't have to go dig up in a box site for find contents. They automatically give it to you with scandals, So you know, when this program is so content rich that it empowers and educate and inform, as Kevin said, people, and you said, Sir Rattigan, to make better informed decision as it relates to holding our government accountable, as it relates to bad governance and corruption and criminality. And you know, you showed the clip. I was trying to log in at the time with the police commissioner and the national security minister, knowingly, willingly, knowingly, you know, these are powerful words. Willingly, knowingly. Sir Rattigan is a lawyer. He can tell how dangerous those words are in the courtroom. But they willingly, knowingly knew that this was a violation, a breach of people's civil rights law, constitutional rights, in terms of Section 3 of the Constitution, the fundamental rights and freedom, that no police officer, not even in America, have the right to ask you to search your personal private phone, tablets, computer, you know, not even come into your house to search unless they have a court warrant order signed by a judge. And so we have people that has been placed into the position to protect, to reassure, and to serve, but yet they're law breakers all this time, breaking the laws. And I would like to finally to ask all the constitutional lawyers in Jamaica to take cases, man. You know, the people might can't afford lawyers, but I believe the more lawsuit this government have on, you know, coming to them, I think they will change their behavior. Just like in America, they're quick to sue the government, and then the government change their practices and behavior. Over to you, Sir Rattigan. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much.
Wait,
Thanks.
1 second. I wanted to say something about that video too. Thank you for reminding me, Pastor Ricky.
Yeah.
Something I want people to recognize. There's a difference between the execution of the law and the prosecution in the law. And the enforcement of the law. Police officers are there to enforce the law. They don't prosecute. They enforce. So they act on what the law says. There's nothing in the law that says you must give me the passcode to your phone. You must give me access to your personal property without me having a warrant. Where the law, the judge has given an order to execute an action, which is then taken out by law enforcement. So when we start paying attention to these things and knowing our rights, then when those rights are violated, we can then take further action. And the more we are informed of our rights and how we can take action, is the less that you'll have these liberties being taken. I saw Barrington Vickers make a comment earlier where he says he's just going to turn off his ears, lock off his ears until election call because he's not for the sale. Here's a problem with that, Barrington. If you're not paying attention to what they're saying, you won't be aware that they're not doing what they said they're going to do. So pay attention. Listen to what they're saying. Focus. Pay special focus to the things that they're not saying. And put it all together. Make an informed decision. Yeah? The way how you scrutinize your children when you ask them if were you the one that did it, and you see them twirl and play with the hem of their clothes, or they look to the side, Will can tell little tales. The very same way. So don't ignore what is being said, Barrington. Yeah, you might not be down for it. You might know that it is BS, but you won't know what that is unless you listen. All right, I got to bail out. If you say Will hold up his phone doing something, you know him reach out to me, right? Because you know him there. Take care. I'll catch up with y'all as soon as I can. Enough love.
All right.
Yourself, Kevin.
Yeah, man.
Uh, folks. All right. So here's what we're gonna do now. Let me set this up for now. What you're gonna see right now is you're gonna see a politician asking members of a university. The university received government funding, and they're supposed to be transforming they're supposed to be transforming the selection of employees, how they hire people. Now, in South Africa, they have four races. Four. They have Indians, whites, blacks, and coloreds. They still use the word colored. Colored is mixed race. Black, when they say blacks in South Africa, it means someone from one of the tribes. You know, Zulu, Pondo, Xhosa. It means you're a tribal person when they say black. They don't, like, for example, when they look at Pastor Ricky and they look at me, they see us as coloreds because we don't affiliate with a tribe. So you will see in South Africa somebody who blacker than me, but identify as colored because that person came from a mixed race couple, and they can't identify with a particular tribe. So what you'll see is this person is talking about how they hire people, because under apartheid, blacks were at the bottom of the totem pole. The Indians were always business people, and the coloreds, they got some of the crumbs from the table, but the black people, they got literally nothing. And since the black people have taken over now, they've come up with programs to correct the racist policies of apartheid. So what they'll do is they'll have preferences for black people, whether it's as far as economics are concerned, or hiring, etc. So that's what you're going to see. But what you're going to see a black person now arguing for the rights of Indians and coloreds, because guess what? As far as some of those preferences are concerned, coloreds and Indians are considered black, so they get the preference. And in fact, in some instances, Chinese are considered black, because everybody who was disadvantaged, them just say you're black for certain things, right? Because white people used to run the thing, and so that's it. So I'm just trying to set the stage for you to say that you're going to see a black guy arguing for colored and coloreds and Indians, and you're going to go, well, why? And he's saying that the way they're hiring, and believe it or not, the hiring is done by black people. And he's saying they're not hiring the way they should hiring, because they're still discriminating against coloreds, people who were disadvantaged under apartheid. He said they're still discriminating against them because the numbers don't add up. The numbers in terms of trying to be balanced and fair. But that's just an overview of it. That's just to give you an example, just to give you an idea of what the discussion will be about. What I really want you to pay attention to, I want you to pay attention to how the questions are asked. I want you to pay attention to how much work has gone into formulating the questions. And you'll see when this guy starts to ask the questions, there's no real answer. All right, here we go.
Yeah, can I request for the presentation by COT to be flighted again, please? I want to go to the transformation slide. I think it is slide number 9. Yeah, yes, that's the one. So just a disclaimer to all the leaders of the institution. the model of transformation that I seek to promote is one of balance rather than one of mere replacement. So when I see a celebration around the replacement of white people with black people, and that is considered transformation, I don't view it that way. For me, transformation should be a balance of all races, because we consider black, white, colored, and Indian as Africans in particular. So I go from that premise. So Visi, do you agree that the current employment equity plan of your institution is racist towards coloreds and Indians?
Thank you very much. Chair, through you. No, I don't believe that it's racist towards coloreds and Indians, but is making efforts in making sure that there is a reasonable balance. We do use the National Economically Active Population kind of framework. And in the region where we are, there are limitations. But we totally agree that it's not, we do seek a balance, but it's not a matter of replacement. But when it comes to employment equity, of course, we do prioritize the prescription, the prescripts of the Employment Equity Act. So we do consider, that's why we count black employees and African, colored, and Indian.
Does UCT see Indians, coloreds, and whites as African?
So it's CUT.
CUT, sorry.
Yes, the Central University of Technology does see African, colored, Indian as one group.
As Africans?
Oh, as Africans,
yes,
as South Africans, yes.
As Africans, or let me put it this way, as Africans in particular.
Well, the South Africans, yes, as Africans, because they are from here, and we are redressing the imbalances of the past, and so we belong to one group.
Are you sure?
In actuality,
when you hear that question, when you see how he's starting like real simple. Is it racist? And he's going on. But when you hear, are you sure? When somebody asks you that question after a series of questions, be careful. Be careful. She wasn't careful, and you're going to see.
Implementation, of course, across the country, it's different views when it comes to that. But we are trying to address it with that view of being equal. But others are more equal than others in terms of the employment equity demands and what's available in terms of the economically active population.
So would you agree that that thinking that you and I have is not reflected in your current policy?
It's not reflected as it is now.
Does that not mean the EE policy is a racist policy against coloreds and Indians?
I still maintain it's not. It's work in progress. The policy is not absolute. It guides. What ends up really proving our intentions are the actions.
Okay, so if you look at slide number 9, your slides show that
people, again, there is no substitute for work. There is no substitute. See, he's done his homework. And this is where she's going to run into problems, because apparently they're used to people just asking softball questions. But he's digging, and enough said.
Black employees is Africans, coloreds, and Indians. So in other words, 81.6% should be for black people. We should see an increase in black people. And that black people should be an increase in African, colored, and Indian, correct?
Well, by category, you will see that there are increases for each category compared to the target for each year.
Before we get to the targets, let's agree on the principle first. So 81.6% should be an increase for black employees. And the understanding is that black employees is African, colored, and Indian. So we should see an increase in all three of those subcategories of black people.
Correct.
Correct. Now, how is it that for coloreds and Indians combined, it is only 7% representation?
So, as I've mentioned through you, Chair, again, the National Economic Active Population framework that we are using.
Yes, we've already agreed on. We've already agreed that we don't think it reflects the reality that you and I agree on.
Yep.
But then you take a different route when I ask you, don't you think then it's racist? You say it's not. So now we're delving into it to say that, how do you then explain coloreds and Indians are considered black, but in the black percentage, those black people only represent 7%? How do you explain that? Are coloreds and Indians a different black races?
No.
So they're the same black as African?
In terms of the employment equity and what we're looking to cover as part of our targets, we look at each subcategory, even if they are all under the main category of black, and the increases happen per category.
We'll go category by category now.
Yes.
I want to understand, you're saying that they are the same black. Yes or no? Are they the same black?
Well, they are counted under black, but the numbers are not the same.
So when you say to me in jest that they are counted under black, which you are aware I can see, I'm not sure why you did that now, because my approach with you is in an understanding posture, but you are moving away from that. I'll overlook it for now. So I do see that coloreds and Indians are counted as black, but they only represent as black. They only represent 7% together. Why? Because if they are the same black, then there should have been an equal split to amount to 81.6%, unless you define them as a different black.
Chair, if I may, through you, I don't think it's really a matter of looking at the race as such, but it's where are we recruiting people from and who is interested in coming to work at CUT.
Do you know what you're saying now?
Because we do have people, we do have them, as you see, but they just constitute a smaller percentage.
Are you saying the reason why it's a smaller percentage is because they don't want to come?
That may be, there may be many reasons.
You're very confident in saying it's not racist. You're very confident in saying that even though it's 7%, they are still black. But now you can't start saying maybe they're not interested. You should know that the reason why it's 7%, it's either because they're not interested or they are. Are you saying that the reason why it's 7% representation is because coloreds and Indians are not interested?
No.
Okay.
I still stand by the fact that the university is not racist in terms of our targets. It's a matter of who we recruit and who accepts and ends up.
Yes, and who you recruit is 7% of coloreds and Indians. Why? Why 7%?
That's the pool that applies and ends up getting to take the job. But it's not for lack of attempts
So I'm going to repeat again. You are saying the reason why there's 7% is because the pool of coloreds and Indian that applies is that percentage. That's what you're saying.
No, it's not that percentage. It's just a matter of who ends up
Who
getting
you
the
take.
job. Yes.
Who you take. Right?
Well, who qualifies and
All right,
and the
but who you
interest,
take
yes,
ultimately.
There are criteria, yes.
Who you take. So the amount that you took is 7% of coloreds and Indians.
We've never been in a situation where we've had to refuse Indian or colored eligible people that we are recruiting. So I would
Okay.
say we only take 7%.
Okay, we're going to go deeper now. It would have been much easier if you looked at it in the way that it's reflected there. Based on your reasoning, whites are not black, right? Based on your policy. Whites are not black, correct?
That's correct. It's not just on
Please
my
speak in the
reasoning,
mic,
it's how
VC.
it is.
Just move the mic closer if you don't mind. You're saying white is not black?
No, they don't fall under the black category for employment equity.
Okay, so for employment
the female.
equity, okay, for employment equity, white females
Yes.
are considered previously disadvantaged, but white males are not, right?
Correct.
Meaning, Indians and coloreds are also considered previously disadvantaged. That's why they are considered black, correct?
Correct.
Meaning, white males should be less than colored and Indian because they are the same black as what is considered black, correct?
Not necessarily. It's a legacy issue, where the institution comes from, what the majority of the employees were, and as employees vacate, then in terms of our recruitment, we consider employment equity targets, and then we will make sure that, we make sure that we address those disparities.
Okay, that's a very smart answer, but your presentation doesn't show that. Your presentation shows that the red part shows the target, correct?
Yes.
If that's the case, then your target for white male is 5%. In other words, what you're saying to us is you are intentionally saying that you seek to recruit and employ. You target to employ 5% white people. Nothing to do with legacy, nothing to do with none of that. It's your intention, is that correct?
Yes, that's a target for 2025, and
Thank
the
you.
actual, that's where it is at the moment.
Thank you, VC. Thank you for not saying not necessarily. It's a direct yes, meaning it's not legacy. Now, according to your policy, white males are not previously disadvantaged. They're not considered black. Coloreds and Indians are considered black. Yet, you target 5% of white male recruitment and colored recruitment, male, colored male, you target 2.2%. Indian male, you target 0.4%, 0.4%. Why?
Again, Honorable Member, this has a lot to do with the baseline from which we are starting. And
that's not true.
And why?
VC.
Yes, there were times when you really didn't have as many Indian.
This is how this happens. Let's
Yes.
make it simple for the country.
Yes.
Don't do that. be simple for the country. You sit here and you say at the beginning of the year, how much white people do we target to employ? Then you say, white people, 5%. That's how it happens. Forget baseline, forget none of that. Then you come to colored people and Indian people, you say for colored people, we target 2%. Then for Indian people, 0.4%. That's how this works.
Let me just enter. Please close the mic. Let me just.
All right. What happens? You see where the questioning is going. It's going in a direction that the lady, she cannot answer the question. She can't justify it. At this point, the chairperson is going to try to explain, try to add some texture to what's going on, but it's not going to work. Watch.
I think it's best if I engage the CUT staff, because you are coming across as not being neutral, and you are explaining what the assumption should be, and you are justifying such action. And you know how personal this is to me, so it sort of, it touches me, because why is it so hard, even if we use your analogy of 10% and then all 17% or 17 new positions going for colored and Indian males? Why not? Do you see where I come from? Why is that such a tough thing to do when it comes to coloreds and Indians? So I maintain my disposition. If we look at the colored male target, 2.2%, using the defense that just came on your behalf, 1.8% is what you achieved. When the retaining of white males, the baseline is 5%, if we use your semantics. You then have 6.8% still there, which then directly, if I go by the analogy that has been used in your defense, which then it says, the 1% missing from that 2.2% target is in your retention of white males. You see, if I talk in reverse, it will bring us back to the same thing. Do you agree, VC?
Through you, Chair, no, I wouldn't say it's in that category of white male. A lot depends on really.
Please speak in the mic, VC.
Sorry, the pool that we have available to us and the eligibility of that pool. And I take the points in terms of us having to like really exercise more due diligence and think this over. And then part of what I said in the presentation is that there will be a meeting with the DOEL to go through the new targets that they've set. And that's also an opportunity for us and the Committee for the Employment Equity then really to assess this and how we've been performing. But as mentioned, really, it's been basically on the basis of the legacy, the pool that we have before us, but we do actively look at each and every recruitment. We are so happy when we get diversity. Diversity is very important for us. When we have diverse number of applicants, we scrutinize them because we're very much aware.
We are going to test that position now.
Yes.
I'm going slowly to a particular point. We're going to practicalize it. Chairperson of Council, what is your race group? What's your race classification? I can't hear you, sir.
Indian.
You are an Indian South African and you're the chairperson of this council.
That's correct, yes.
How do you feel about Indians as a target combined being 7%?
Honorable member,
I mean, sorry, 0.7%.
It makes my answer even more difficult. Well, clearly, one would like to see a growth in the percentage split, skewed towards coloreds and Indians, but we come from a legacy situation, and that legacy situation is very real, as I understand it, and also the practicalities on the ground at CUT is quite different. For example, it's in a part of the country where, for example, Indians may not be as prevalent as in, say, Durban or Gauteng. So
you can't source them from Durban.
You could, if they apply.
Exactly, because we are in South Africa. When you make these job adverts, you don't limit it to that province. It's South Africa, right? And so anybody can apply. So let me rather ask it like this here. Just yes or no, are you okay with that? Are you okay with the institution's commitment to recruit that target for Indian males and females?
So if I look at the target there, it's 0.4%.
Yes. 0.4%.
Yeah. Am I reading it correct?
You're reading it correct, sir.
Okay.
And then the Indian female is also 0.4 as a target.
I think for the current year, it's perhaps the best we can do. But certainly going forward, I think there needs to be a deliberate attempt to transform those statistics.
Would you agree there's not been a deliberate attempt to do so up to this point?
I can't say, Honorable Member, because I'm relatively new to council.
Okay, but for the record, you're not okay with that?
Well, I don't think that anyone could be okay with any kind of statistic, except to say that...
No, the VC is okay. The VC is considering it okay, and it's based on the baseline, it's based on what's available. So there are people that can be okay with it. Are you, as the chairperson of council?
I'll answer you this way, Honorable Member. I'd like to see some kind of increase in the statistics.
So you're not okay, Chair? You're not okay with it?
It's a low target.
You're not okay with it?
No, I think it needs to improve.
You're not okay with it?
No.
Thank you, Chairperson. VC, do you agree that the current EE plan chooses foreigners above South Africans?
Now, people, I want you to pay close attention to the line of questioning. This is where he wanted to go. All the other things he did, that's a prelude, because there was a black South African female who wasn't hired for a job. And he's going to defend that black South African female now. But he had to set everything up to get to this point. Watch.
It's not choosing foreigners over South Africans. It's about also factoring our internationalization efforts. And we've got a 10% cap, as you would know. It's not a matter of choosing South Africans, foreigners over South Africans.
So your answer is no?
My answer is I don't think.
Is that a no or yes?
No.
No. All right. Let's look at slide number 10. Let's just look at the engineering, build, environment, and IT section. Colored male, Indian male. Chairperson of council, look at that there. 1.0% is permanent academic staff. No Indian female there in that entire faculty. Colored male, 1.6%. No colored female there. Foreigners, altogether, both foreign female and male, 15%. VC, colored males, Indian males and females are South Africans. You have in that faculty alone, combined 2%. If you round it off, let's say 4%. Foreign nationals, 15%. What is the reason for that?
Honorable Member, the common reason really for it is about the skills, the internationalization plan, and the readiness to come and work within CUT or the Free State. It's really the pool that we are recruiting from. I dread the fact that I'll keep repeating the same thing, but we do not dismiss our internationalization policy and the targets there.
I wish you would just be honest, VC, but it's okay. We'll continue. Do you know Professor Doluntu Mpekwa?
He's going in for the kill right now. He's going in for the kill. Again, people, just focus on how the questions are phrased, right? Of course, you have to do some background, but you see where he's coming from. It's a lengthy process. But again, this is just to teach you how to ask, how to interview, and how an interview can turn into an interrogation. Here we go.
I haven't met her directly, yes.
Actually, it's Professor, Doctor.
Yes.
She holds a BTech, a MTech, and a PhD. Very brilliant black South African female in this country. Do you know that in 2024 she applied for the Dean of the Faculty of Engineering, both Environment and Information Technology? Do you know of that?
In 2019?
2024.
Oh, last year, yes.
So you do know?
Yes.
Do you confirm that this black African highly qualified professional met the requirements of this position?
The minimum requirements.
Do you agree? Do you confirm that?
See, he asked her, do you agree that this lady met the requirements? And she's trying to minimize it by saying she met the minimum requirements. Big mistake. Big mistake.
She fulfilled the requirements?
Yes, she fulfilled the minimum requirements.
Do you confirm that she was shortlisted and interviewed?
Yes.
Could you kindly tell the country who ended up getting the job? Was it a South African or was it a foreigner?
It was an internal candidate who is a foreign national.
Sorry, BC?
A foreign national female internal candidate.
Is that a scarce skill? The dean of the...
It says scarce, but it's scarce, he's saying, because they have a law in South Africa saying that if you have a scarcity, then that's one of the exceptions to hiring a foreigner. If you don't have a qualified South African and it's a scarce skill, then you can hire someone from the outside.
Faculty?
In STEM-related issues, it can be a scarce.
In this instance, I'm putting before you a highly qualified South African black female professional who qualifies. In this instance, that's not a scarce skill because you have someone that can fill the position who is South African. A foreign national was given the position over and above this person.
If I may also answer this, that process was opened twice, precisely also because of the pool of applicants that we had, where we wanted to make sure there is enough diversity in terms of female representation, South Africans, and
No,
especially
VC,
also because of
you see, I've been
kind
very
of
patient with
faculty.
you, and I've allowed you to patronize me on many occasions. This time I'm not going to allow it. What you have here is the position of dean is open. There is a South African black female who has applied and who is qualified. She holds a doctorate. She qualifies for that position. She doesn't get it. The person who gets it is a foreign national. That is not a scarce skill. The law requires that the only time you can do what you did is if it is a scarce skill. You disregarded, your institution disregarded a black female professional. There's no way around that. And whether you believe it or like it or not, CUT appears to be favoring foreign nationals above South Africans, even if they are qualified. And that's what that same stat in that faculty speaks to, of 15% of foreign nationals. And when we go there, even in your other slides, when you speak about junior lecturers and all of that kind of stuff, we will see how South Africans are lesser number than foreign nationals. In practicality, I urge you, VC, as we go further, that we see this problem and we take accountability for it, rather than explaining it away. This highly qualified female South African has been disadvantaged, intentionally so. And according to our laws, she should have been the person. Not preference, I don't know her. We just did research. But based on the law, what the institution has done is disadvantage her. The department.
No, when you talk about it gets worse, I mean, this man is so prepared, people. This is how you ask your questions of public officials. Look at what he's going to do now. He's going to embarrass her even further. Look.
Of higher education. Did you approve this? The appointment of a foreign national over a South African?
Chair, we are also surprised.
Kindly speak in the mic.
Yes, I'm speaking to my mic. I say we are also we are also surprised. Ordinarily, the university would have written to us, particularly to give us notice that they are making that appointment for visa purposes. We didn't get that letter.
VC, kindly explain.
Chair, I think as I mentioned through the chair, honorable member, the candidate was an internal candidate that already has...
VC, are you listening to what the department is saying? There's a particular process. If you want to do what you did, you must inform the department you didn't.
No, that wasn't done, as far as I know.
We just heard that wasn't done. You didn't do it. The entire procedure was wrong. You know why? I'll tell you why. VC, your institution favors foreign nationals over South African citizens, even if they hold PhDs. That's why. I'm going to continue. CFO.
Some of you saw what he did to the CFO last week on a different subject. Now he's on to the CFO regarding the same thing he just did with the lady, hiring. And I mean, this clip that we're playing, it's getting rave reviews all over South Africa right now, because this man has gone to the underbelly and he's exposing it. But again, as I'm saying to you, I want you to look at his preparation. I want you to look at how he asks his questions, how he set people up. I just want, try it on each other. Try it on me. Try it on Pastor Ricky. Just try it, because we all can do it. We all can do it. But look at what he's going to do with this man right now.
Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon.
CFO, is it true that a white male chartered accountant was first contracted as a consultant in your department?
Can you repeat again?
Is it true that a white male South African chartered accountant was first contracted as a consultant to the institution in finance?
In my division, yes.
Is it true that this contract as a consultant was extended for Mr. Kobus Fourie?
Yes.
Is it true that Mr. Kobus Fourie is now permanently employed as Director of Financial Reporting?
Incorrect. He's not a director. He's a manager.
What is his substantive role?
Manager Financial Reporting.
Sorry?
Manager Financial Reporting.
Oh, so it's just the director is not its manager.
He's not a director.
Give me the organogram. So you have manager, then you have director. There is a director of. Is there a director of financial reporting?
I've got director of financial reporting. He's a female. Then I've got a manager financial reporting.
Okay, so you have manager financial reporting.
Report two.
Director financial reporting.
Yes.
And then
CFO.
CFO. All right. So Mr. Fourie, who was a consultant, who you contracted as a consultant, is now a permanent manager of financial reporting, correct?
Yes, it does. Yeah, he met the requirements. Thank you.
I hope, Chair, that you heard that whilst you came in. This was not a retention now. This one was brought. And he's a white male. I don't have issue with white males. As a matter of fact, we're pushing to say we are all South Africans. But seeing that we are using this model, we are interrogating the process and how it affects Indians and coloreds. So, do you know the colored male assistant accountant by the name of Mr. Keenan Jacobs?
Yes. I work in finance.
He is the, just so I don't get it wrong again, because I was just doing research, I didn't speak to particular people, so I might get the designation wrong again. What is his, just now I say manager, then he's not manager. Is he the assistant accountant?
He's the assistant treasury accountant.
Assistant treasury accountant.
Yes.
And then on top of him?
There's a manager.
Which one?
He reports to the manager.
Oh, he reports to Mr. Fourie?
Yes.
And then, okay.
Yes.
Do you know the qualifications of Mr. Jacobs?
Definitely, yes, I know them, all of them.
Please share it with us.
You've got an MBA. He's a now qualified CA. You've got an ACCA.
He is a qualified chartered accountant.
Recently qualified as chartered accountant.
He has an MBA.
Recently, yes. You've got an MBA now.
He has a BCom.
You've got a BCom accounting.
He holds a CIMA designation as a Chartered Global Management Accountant.
He does, yes.
And he's an Assistant Chartered Management Accountant. He holds that designation too?
He's an Assistant Treasury Accountant.
No, the CIMA designation.
Yes, CIMA, yes.
As a Assistant, ACMA.
Yeah.
That's what I was referring to. What qualifications does Mr. Fori hold?
He's a CA, chartered accountant. He could become CTA, and it's a chartered accountant.
Does he have CIMA designation?
No.
Is he a chartered global management accountant?
Nope, he's a CA, chartered accountant.
Okay. You are the CFO?
Yep.
Are you a chartered accountant?
I'm not a chartered accountant, I'm a professional accountant.
You're not a chartered accountant?
Nope, I'm a professional accountant.
So, Mr. Jacobs holds more qualifications than the CFO and the manager of financial reporting combined.
Not in that way.
Please explain.
It's equivalent.
It's the equivalent?
It's equivalent to...
See, that's another technique. See, when he said no, he said, please explain. He didn't force him. No, he could have asked him a direct question, but he's giving him room to hang himself. So he said, please explain. And listen to this convoluted explanation.
NQF level 8, both of them.
Are you a chartered accountant, CFO?
I'm not a chartered accountant.
Sorry?
I'm not a chartered accountant, I'm a professional accountant.
Is that in your field, is a chartered accountant, are you the equivalent to a chartered accountant?
Yes, NQF level 8.
Are you 100% sure?
Yes.
For the record?
Yes.
You are a chartered accountant?
I'm not a chartered accountant, I'm a professional accountant.
CFO, are you listening to yourself?
Yes.
Is professional accountant the same as chartered accountant in your field?
In terms of the level, yes.
No, in terms of what you can and cannot do. In your field, how are you recognized in your field?
Okay, let me just clarify for you. The chartered accountant, they can do audit, opinion. The professional accountant, they can't do that. It's CIMA, they can't do that.
Do you write exams to become a chartered accountant?
Yes.
Did you write the exam?
Yes. For SAIPA, yes.
To be a chartered accountant? Sir, do you write exams to be a chartered accountant?
Yes.
Did you write the exam to be a chartered accountant?
I'm not a chartered accountant. I didn't write the exam for chartered accountant.
So you didn't write the exam?
I didn't write the exam for the chartered accountant. I wrote the exam for SAIPA.
Therefore, you are not a chartered accountant.
I'm not a chartered accountant.
You have to go and write the exam in order to be a chartered accountant.
If I want to be.
Yes. Now,
yes. I don't want to be.
Mr. Jacobs did.
He did, yes.
He's a chartered accountant.
And he further to be a MBA as well.
I'm glad you're acknowledging even further. That's my point.
Yes.
And Mr. Jacobs, a colored South African male, is a treasury accountant assistant.
Yes.
And he has applied for this position of manager. The institution employed someone who was initially outsourced, contracted as a consultant, a white male chair. And this man, a colored male, who has written the exam to be a chartered accountant.
But I don't like when you say this man, colored, you point next to you. And when you say white male, you point next to me.
Because when I heard you speak, you tried to justify this thing.
No, I like it because at least it's actually something that will clarify the process.
There's no clarification.
No, let me just take you through in terms of the recruitment and recruitment selection process.
CFO.
Yes.
You see, you have in your department a highly qualified person who was and is employed by your institution. A consultant that you brought in and extended his contract. You made and appointed as the manager. This colored man is overqualified. And he is an assistant accountant, an assistant treasury accountant. That, to me, cannot be explained. It's wrong. And yet he has applied for years. He has not been promoted at any given time. He is basically in a junior position with the BCom, with the MBA, and the rest of the global things that you just said is higher. Does he not deserve more?
I'm working on the succession plan for him to make sure that he's got the right skills in terms of work. In terms of the POPIA Act, I can't just mention all of it, but I'm working to make sure that I build him up to get everything right in terms of the skills for do the right job.
You have less than him, you are there as a CFO. That other guy has less than him, he's there as a manager. He must be built up with skill.
I can summarize for you, just to make sure that at least you understand what does he has.
I will never understand the reasoning for him holding a junior position with the qualifications that he has, and those above him with less qualifications than his is occupying different positions. And even though he has applied, do you agree that he has applied?
He did apply.
What made him unsuccessful?
With a lack of skills in terms of the of technical skills.
Wow.
Compiling of financial statements. I can go further. It required as well the experience in terms of managing people management.
How did you gain experience?
I've got almost 24 years working experience.
How did you get it? You had to get the position.
Yes.
This man is.
I'm working to make sure that succession plan for him.
You brought someone from outside. You brought someone who has come to consult with the institution, extended that person's contract, then appointed him. There's no justification for this. There's no explanation for this. You have somebody who has gone to the pinnacle of his field, and he's a junior in CUT. It's wrong on so many levels. That's the plan, Chair.
All right. Folks, you see exactly what I'm talking about. You can put the issue aside, the employment issue, but just I'm trying to get you to look at the mechanics of how he forms his questions. And he does it not by guessing, he does it by working. He did the work already. And then he prepared himself. He's unafraid to ask the questions. And he's unafraid to ask the right questions. And you see what happens. People can't answer. This is how you must treat your politicians in terms of holding them accountable. That's why they don't want me nowhere near none of them. They don't want me, Pastor Rick, nowhere near none of them. Because the questions we're going to ask are not softball questions. Even if we ask questions that sound like softball questions, I set up questions them. Because you know why? We do the homework first. So we know the lay of the land. We know the background. And remember, we don't ask questions if we don't know the answers. Or rare is the occasion that we ask. And that's why Editor Morgan, you see him get set up. You see him get set up on Shaka program.
Yeah.
He thought that these were softball questions, so him can just steamroll us over. And him not realize, and we're going to show you, him not realize that him actually gave us answers, volunteer answers that if we had asked him directly, he wouldn't have given to us. So now we just saw one style of interviewing and interrogation techniques. I'm going to show you another style. And these are young politicians, and that's why I'm imploring, I'm begging the young people in Jamaica, go out and vote and get involved in the direction of the country. We have some politicians there, they're like mummies. They're older than the hills, and they're still clinging on to power. It's time for new blood to come in. And I'm asking the young people to take up the challenge. You can do it. You don't have to sit back and complain and don't participate. It's your country, it's our country. We all have to get involved. I'm going to show you another politician, a young politician. You saw him that last week or the week before. His style is different. He doesn't like set up. Well, you know what? Here he is. Here he is.
Dilly ding, dilly dong. My name is Liam Jacobs. I'm Member of Parliament for the Democratic Alliance, and I want to say this. The world is way too big to change. It is massive. But your corner of the world is not too big to change. So you've got to go out there as a young person in politics, and you've got to believe that you are able to change your corner of the world and make it a better place, not just for yourself, not just for your family, not just for your community, but for everybody that is going to come afterwards. That is the magic. That is what is inside of you, and that is what the world has been waiting for this entire time.
Young people of Jamaica, Jamaica is waiting on you. Get involved. This is a young guy, very involved. Look at how he conducts himself like a true professional, like a very, very mature adult. You'd never know that this guy just got in politics. Let me remove this. Let me remove this. Some of this, there's a certain section of this that some of you saw a couple of weeks ago, but I'm going to show you the whole thing because you need to see this. Look at how he prefaces the whole thing. He sets the stage and said, this is what I'm about. Watch.
7 members to go.
Okay, am I fine now, Chair? Can I go?
You can go.
It's okay. It's okay. Numbers. Yeah, numbers. Chairperson, thank you very much. Look, the matter is as follows. I don't think that this is something that we can take lightly. When you hear all of these things, you hear numbers and you hear finances that sound very willy-nilly, like they were sucked out of thumbs. And that's what I want to clarify now. What I want to clarify is that I'm not going to be asking you questions nicely. I'm going to be asking you questions and I want responses immediately. So please be ready to respond. And I don't want political answers. I don't want answers where you are explaining and giving examples. I want yes, no, I want factuals, I want full stops. That's what I want. So I'm going to start with Netball World Cup. I want to know, did board members get funding from the Netball World Cup?
No.
You didn't. Okay. So I want them to know, if they are seeing it with us now, it implies that there might have been a deadline and you missed your deadline. So did you miss a deadline? Was there a deadline given to you for audited financials? What happened?
Yes, we did miss the deadline, sir.
When was the deadline?
It was supposed to be last year, March 20.
Last year, March. Who's responsible for missing the deadline?
It's us as a board.
Who's in the board?
The 4 of us that are here.
Who's the 4 of us that are here?
Okay, it's myself as a chair.
Name, surname?
Patience Shikwambana.
Okay, next.
Blanche de la Guerre.
Excuse me?
Blanche de la Guerre.
Thank you.
Samaya Khan.
Uh-huh. 4th?
Lyndon Bauer.
Thank you very much. So you're the 4 that missed the deadline. Why did you miss the deadline?
I indicated earlier that we had challenges with our staff.
You had challenges with your staff?
Yes.
So you acknowledge responsibility for the fact that you missed the deadline?
Yes, we do.
Thank you very much. Then I want to know, how much did it cost you to measure your carbon footprint? I understand you don't have audited financials and you boasted about having a lower carbon footprint, but what we don't talk about is reporting. Reporting often costs a lot of money. How much did it cost you to measure your carbon footprint?
480,000.
480,000. Okay. Then I want to know your fan parks and the attendance. I want to know how much did your fan parks and your viewing sites cost and what was the attendance? Across the country.
Each province hosted their own fan parks. So the city of Cape Town hosted their one, Western Cape government hosted fan parks across the districts, and each province, wherever they found themselves, so they carried those costs of the fan parks.
So you don't know the cost of the fan parks?
No, because we were not responsible for it. The provinces carried those costs. I'm responsible for the Western Cape one, but we were not responsible as a board for the whole country.
So the board has no idea how much the fan parks cost? Because if you are saying it comes from then provinces and districts, You are then saying that this goes to municipal levels, you are saying that it goes to district levels and provincial levels, and you are saying that you don't know how much of taxpayer money or whatever went to these fan parks.
No, we wouldn't know, as I'm saying, because it was a partnership with the provinces.
So you don't know?
No.
Okay, thank you for accepting that you don't know. Then I want to move to Netball South Africa. Now, you heard me talking about money, and I'm very clear on what I want to know. I want to touch on a lot of things here, and the first thing I want to touch on is that your financials reflect 41,041 Rand across 2 years for NSA condolences. What is that? Is there anyone to respond to me on finances here? I expect the CEO to be able to respond on finances.
Honorable Member, I have to check the document that you're talking about.
You can't check a document. You can't come to a portfolio committee that represents the people of South Africa and say you must check a document. You are a CEO and you are supposed to know what is inside of your document. So please explain to me and the 250 South Africans watching now and the hundreds of thousands that are going to watch, what is NSA condolences? You spent 41,000, you ought to know.
The only thing I can remember at the top of my mind is the players that, well, netball players that died. That's what I remember at the top of my mind.
You spent 41,000. What did you use it for?
Honorable Member, with due respect, can I get back to get the details? Because this is not for this financial year.
No, you are correct. It's not for this financial year. It's for the 2024-2023 financial year. At the financial years that ended in 2023 and 2024.
Exactly, Honorable Member. I was employed in October 2023 and I wanted to be given an opportunity to go and check, and I will report back.
So you didn't do your homework before the portfolio committee? You present us a report, you don't do your homework on the report. What can happen? Yes?
I did my homework.
Now you don't know what the 41,041 Rand was for.
Can I humbly request that I go and check those details, Honorable Jacobs?
You cannot humbly request that you go and check details. It doesn't matter how you change the wording of your request. I want the answer now.
I don't have the answer now.
So you don't have the answer?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Then I want to move to correctional services. 53,091 Rand was spent to a line item called correctional services. What was that for? And what is your name, CEO? I want the South Africans to just hear your name and surname.
My name is Mudiege Komani.
Yaleboa.
My name is Mami Diale. The money for correctional service, what happens is as and when Department of Correctional Services has a championship, they request support from Netball South Africa. And with that support, Netball South Africa will invoice them in terms of selectors, in terms of umpires and all that.
Thank you very much.
So they will pay that money.
That's fine. Then I want to know, you paid 119,217 Rand for a social media influencer. Why and who was it? And what was the results of it?
This is that was part of the 2023 Netball World Cup, and
nope, it was 2024. It ended in that financial year.
Say that again.
The statement ends for the 31st of March 2024. So who was the social media influencer? What did they do? How much did they cost? And what was the person? What was the outcomes?
That's when the CFO is absent, Honorable Jacobs.
But we need a response, Chairperson. We need a response. There's people here that ought to account to us now, and I want the accounting now.
That's when a CFO is absent. This is what happening.
Then you sit here with silence. And I think that the nation deserves to hear the silence also, because I can feel in the room there's a tension that you can't cut with a butter knife, you can't cut with a meat cleaver. Leave the tension and give us the answers. That is what we want. So please tell me, who was the person? What was it used for? There's got to be someone here that knows that.
I don't have the details, Honorable Jacobs.
You don't got the answers. You don't have the answers.
The details.
You don't have those answers.
I don't have the details.
So you don't know where the money went.
I'm saying the details of the particular influencer.
The details of the particular influencer.
Yes, Honorable
And you don't have the results of your spending on that particular
We
influencer.
do have the social media report of the spending, Honorable Jacobs.
Thank you very much. Then I want to know, you spent 47,000 Rand, 47,568 Rand on consulting fees. What was that for? It's just there, a line item, consulting fees. Now the homework is being done, Chairperson. This is what happens when you study inside of the lecture. Proceed. Nagana.
Now we understand the challenges that NSA have.
That's why there's a problem. And I'm going to finish it with my last point. Proceed. I want an answer.
Honorable members, Honorable Chair, I don't think this is fair because...
Why is it not fair?
This is very detailed and it requires, had we received, we would have attached evidence of these things. Like I indicate, I'm not giving an excuse. I came in October and these financials were already audited.
Chairperson, no.
So I need to have to go and consult to check this information.
Chairperson, the reason I'm saying that is because you can't come here, account, and then have nothing to account with. It is almost as if I must call you back for another meeting so you bring your details so that you can flesh them out. We are fleshing them out now. That is when the fleshing out is happening. So can't you tell me what you spent 47,000 Rand on for consulting fees? You can't tell me, yes or no?
No.
You don't know. As a CEO, you don't know. Okay, then on the SPAR Proteas, in 2023, you spent 1,440,000 Rand. In 2024, you spent 622,757 Rand. I think we know what I'm going to ask. What was the consulting fees for? It's over 2 million Rand in consulting fees. What were the consulting fees for? 2 million. There's netball players and coaches that are watching this now, wondering what happened to that 2 million. Couldn't my players get balls? Couldn't my players get kits? Couldn't my players get tackies? Couldn't my players get a court? But there's 2 million on consulting fees. What was the consulting fees for? Chairperson, I'm convinced that I was speaking English.
Yeah, Honorable Jacobs, I'm going to skip you. We have to reschedule a follow-up discussions.
So can I confirm, Chairperson, that she does not have the answers as we speak? That the CEO and members of the executive do not have the answers as we speak?
There's no responses. There's no responses.
There's no responses. They don't have the answers. They can't account.
So we have to get this on the latest stage, and perhaps, Honorable Liam Jacobs, may I request that you put that down on paper and that we get a response in due course.
Can I close, Chair? I'm not going to ask a question. I'm going to close.
Please proceed.
Ek is hartseer. Wat jy sê? Kalwala, wat jy sê? Look, the question surrounding the president is very interesting, the president of Netball South Africa. Because it sounds like this, and I'm going to say it for the people that are watching. It sounds like this. It says, okay, listen, I'm suspended. But at the same time, I'm not actually suspended because I don't think that I'm actually suspended, but if I do something, World Netball is going to sanction my organization, and therefore I have to make it look like I'm suspended, but I'm not suspended. So I'm not going to come to the committee because I'm suspended, but I'm still going to be the president. I'm still going to have that power because I'm not actually sanctioned or actually under any charges. I'm not actually under anything. That is what you are saying to us here. When that letter came to us, it was saying, yes, I'm suspended, but I'm not actually suspended because I reject anything that says that I'm suspended. That's what you are telling us. And if you can tell us that, what more are you saying to the players who play netball in our universities and in our schools? men and women who play netball? What more are you saying to the coaches who are trying to make the netball stars of tomorrow? What more are you saying to the schools who are putting the resources in place and hard hours in the sun to make netball successful in South Africa if you have a president that is running roughshod over netball like this? Chairperson, my case isn't even tired. My case wants to go to a coffin because this is a funeral now, Chairperson. I rest my coffin. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Jacobs. Something.
No, you know, I couldn't help but say in the chat where Freedom said Babsy Grange. I have been asking questions about some of these things of the Jamaican government, how they spend money, because I've been watching the oversight committee and they're not asking these questions of the politicians. How are you spending the taxpayers' money? They're not asking them that. Even though they have the budget and they have line items, nobody's asking. And I'm just curious as to why the opposition members, they're not asking these questions either. Look, Babsy Grange went to Budapest for the World Games. She took a staff with her. Ed Bartlett went with his wife. And I'm asking all these questions. They went for the Commonwealth thing. Kigali. And I'm asking who went and they don't. You see the frustration. But particularly young people, you can ask your counselor, you can ask your MP, you can ask and file ATIs. We have one more segment before we wrap up, one more video before we wrap this up, and you're gonna see how this guy is like a bulldog. You know, he's like a pit bull. He doesn't stop. You see the difference in the approach between the first guy, Mr. Sauls, and this guy, Mr. Jacobs. All right, watch this. Watch this.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. And then there was silence. No, I'm playing. So, Chairperson, look, I think one of the reasons I might not be as vicious now is because it's a new board. Right? And with a new board, you know, it's a new broom, and we know how new brooms do. You buy them at Verimark, and your house is suddenly way cleaner than before. Some even buy the Chinese ones, where you just switch it on and then it goes all across the floor by itself, right? That's the new brooms. But, and you knew the but was coming, but I do recall seeing the same people that were here last year when we met here again. So that implies to me that there are people that are in some form of a capability to answer certain questions about financial statements. Am I correct in saying so? Am I correct in saying so?
Yes, you're correct.
I'm correct. Thank you very much.
The acting CFO would be in the position, and the COO was also part of the previous financial year.
Okay, thank you very much. So my questions are not as much quantitative questions as what I previously asked, because those were largely covered by the fact that in the presentation you did display some form of an understanding of your qualitative statements. However, there seems to be a lack of direct reporting on what you are doing. So for example, you'll say that your target was 100 and you'll just say you did your target, but you don't tell us what your exact performance was, what your exact output was. It's standard procedure that when you come to the portfolio committee, you give us the specifics, because we want to know the specifics so that we can do the maths behind the specifics, right? So on that, I want to ask you, the first thing here is, I see that in your financial statements, you paid 773,530 Rand in 2024 and 2,154,547 Rand in 2023 on what is called consulting and professional fees. Can I please get clarity on what that is, what it means, and what you paid it for? I do it interpellation style, so I want the answer.
Okay. No, thanks, Honorable Member. The acting CFO would, if you could just zoom to that specific transaction and give an account of what it is for.
Okay, thank you, Honorable.
I think the mic is a bit far.
Is it far? Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
So that's consulting fees.
Consulting and professional fees, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So the reason why there's an increase from the previous year, which is 2022-23, to the year under review, is that there was a boxing awards event which took place in Durban in the 2024 financial year. So there were a lot of consulting work that was appointed, which made an increase to this value,
Okay,
to this
so
amount.
So what I'm gathering is that you spent about 8% of your budget. Your budget is about, or your grants is about 20 to 26 million around there. You spent 8% of that on an award ceremony. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
You spent 8% on an award ceremony. Okay? I just want that on record, because I think that when boxers themselves and their coaches look at an 8% that was spent on an award ceremony versus millions that could have gone towards, and it is millions. If I added up 2.1 million plus 770,000 is about 2.8 million. If I add that up, that is 2.8 million that went towards professional and consulting fees. Né? Now, you said it's for an award ceremony. Is that an award ceremony that took place over 2 years? Because
No.
I see 2023 and 2024.
No, it happened in July of 2023. That's why it falls within the 2023-24 financial year.
Okay, then what is the 2.1 million?
2.1 million.
Yes, in 2023.
It's all consulting fees. The
Yes.
majority of it relates to the BSA awards.
The
So,
majority of it. What's the rest of it?
What goes in there is also consulting within BSA, if there's any.
So you pay yourself to
consulting
consult
work.
yourself?
Well, we sometimes need professional, experience or.
Don't you have that professional experience yourself? What for?
I am not sure, sir. It's
You don't
just
know?
it's different consulting jobs which were appointed during that financial year.
So you don't know what those consulting jobs are?
I can't really tell you at this point.
Why can you not tell me at this point?
It's a very detailed list, say. It includes BSA
No, you can tell
awards
me.
and other consulting
You can
fees.
tell me. The answer won't be there. The answer will
One
probably
of
be
them
in
was a
front of you.
study which was conducted, a case study, which I think the consultant was hired by the previous board to conduct a study, of which.
Just tell me what it was about, quick.
I can't give you the details, sir.
But you were about to tell me of a case study.
As a finance person, you know about the cost, you know about the appointment of a service provider, but the details of what the research was about.
Okay, then who
and
must I
how-
ask? Yes.
The CEO can come through. Thanks.
No, thanks, Honorable Member.
Just a quick one. I don't want a political answer here. I
I'm
want a
giving
factual
a
answer.
direct response. There was an exaggerated use of these consultancy services, and I'm going to give you an example.
All right. See what happens when you become a bulldog? You see when you start kicking down the door? Now, this guy, he might go start talk out the things because him no want to take no blame in the portfolio committee. So he might go start talk about all of the, some of the little shenanigans where them used to go on with. Never have to do it, but him realize that this guy come after him because the lady just said, ask him. Listen.
During the period under review.
Bullet point them for me, please.
Yes. For example, there was a lawyer who was on a retainer with Box in South Africa.
For how much?
For, I think it's about 120,000 the colleagues per month.
Per month?
Yes.
You paid 120,000? You paid that man's salary per month?
120,000 retainer of a lawyer. That's one. Two, there was an...
And you're admitting to this. This is something that happened. 120,000 per month for retain a lawyer.
Yes, because...
My goodness gracious. Yes?
And then secondly, there was frivolous use of legal services. I'm going to give you an example.
I'm going to come to legal fees though.
Okay. So when it comes to those type of consultancy fees, it was things like that. And I think...
Things like what?
An example that I've just given you now.
Yeah, what? Give me some more.
And then two, during the boxing awards themselves, there had been various service providers who also came in as consultants. So those issues are part of the
What did they do?
basket.
What did they do?
So that I don't know, and that is what the forensic investigation must now respond to.
Hear
So
that?
Don't respond to it.
Yes. So
That is what we need in Jamaica. Pastor Rick, I hear your call feed forensic investigation for go back and figure out who get the money, where to spend on. We need to do this.
Yeah.
We need to do this. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Pastor Rick.
Yeah, when I worked for the federal government managing grants, my portfolio was $70 million per day in federal funds that I had to, be a wise steward over. And these people, it sounds like there's a lot of, it's either incompetency or laziness or embezzlement, because, when you have like different clients that money is appropriated to or allotted to, they should have audit reports in front of them. These are professional accountants and financial analysts and so forth. So they should have reviewed, the audit reports. They should review all financial reports. They should come prepared, but unfortunately, they don't know what's in the line item. They don't know the contractual fees. They don't know the direct costs and the indirect costs that makes up the whole budget. I mean, this is clearly a sign of failure, and I don't know the outcome of these hearings, but this reminds me of even Cornwall Regional Hospital in Jamaica, where you have a cost overrun that started from $2 billion and it's now $26 to $27 billion cost overrun, and yet we don't see any of these the Minister of Health, the Minister of Finance, the contractors. I mean, the person that's the project manager. They all should be brought before an oversight committee in Jamaica. But when you have a corrupt government, that you can't ask them to oversight themselves, because you're gonna need independent persons to come in and really put the hammer down on them, because they're not. It's like asking the fox to watch over the chicken coop. You know what I mean? So this is just a clear example of failure amongst these professionals. And then in the first clip, when you play, there's clearly discrimination, in terms of hiring practices. And so when you have 81%, that the pool of that 81% is colored people, that includes Black, Indians, and so forth. But they choose foreign nationals, like the Prime Minister said, there's no skilled work in Jamaica. So them all go India and Philippines and China and everywhere else to look for workers, and overlook people who graduate from UWI and the University of Technology in Jamaica, that are bright, brilliant students coming out of college with student loan debt that they have to pay back, but them overlook them. So it's just the corruption is just widespread, and that's how we're looking at corruption all over the place.
Right. And that's why we're forcing the young people to start thinking critically along these lines, because we understand that the politicians are not asking the politicians or the public officials about, spending and accountability. They're not asking them these types of questions. They're not. Anyway, make we continue.
Because we wouldn't have all these answers. But I think what we have also identified is that there's a problem here. And in the scope of forensic investigation, those issues are also now part of that basket.
So you don't know what the problem was? You are saying yourself that you must be investigated and your organization must be investigated for this?
Definitely, yes, that's 100%. What we are saying.
Okay, thank you for admitting to that. Then I want to ask, conferences and seminars. In 2023, you spent 987,344 Rand, and then in 2024, 2.1 million Rand, which is 2,155,192 Rand. What were these conferences and seminars about, and why did they cost this much?
That is a question that Jamaicans supposed to ask all of the ministers, because they go on conferences all over the place and they don't come back and give a report to the people of Jamaica what they did. So we need to get these answers. We need to get the questions asked, and we need to get answers, real answers, not bogus answers. Welcome, Marvin.
And Sir Rattigan, I think that question should be included to the permanent secretaries, because they control the purse, and the cabinet secretary as well.
Indeed. And so people, when you see me stay up an item, some of them questions that me ask through ATIs, and them can't answer me. Let me show you some of the responses. I mean, you dead with laugh. But I would have loved to dip on one of them oversight committee to ask them questions. But since I can't do it, we are encouraging, we're empowering the young people to ask these questions. If you can't ask it in Parliament, you have an MP, you have a councillor. Practice, practice, practice. Here we go.
And how many people came to these conferences and seminars, especially in 2024? Hello. I feel like a teacher in a class.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the conferences and seminars, unfortunately, also relates to the venue for the BSA Awards. So it's basically the BSA Awards.
You clump them together, conferences and seminars.
Yes, and also the training, when we conduct training to our licensees, when we hire venue, but a bulk of it was coming from the awards.
And what was the rest? And you say the awards, right?
The award for that in July 2023.
The consulting and professional fees and the conferences and seminars is cousins.
Yeah.
Right? So you are saying that you actually spend, it's going to go up now, you spend about 12% then on an award show. You spend 12% of your budget on awards and not 12% on developing athletes. I don't know about you, but a handshake is not going to develop me as much as hard yards inside of a ring. That is the truth. So then I want to know, your seminars, you said the bulk of it. What was the rest?
The rest was when we organize training for our licenses, when we hire a venue to conduct.
How much was that venue cost? And where was it?
It was in Durban. Is it ICC?
Durban ICC.
Yes,
Durban ICC. How much it cost?
I can't give you the exact figure because it will be other items which were added in that cost, say.
Chairperson, it's again a matter of the homework is not being done now. It's being done in the lecture, Chairperson. And that can't be the case. You're supposed to come here knowing exactly what for what is inside of your financial reports, because that is what you come to account on us on. So you are saying again you don't know the exact specifics.
I don't know the amount of the conference for the BSA Awards.
Okay, and then in this 2.1 million from 2024, what was it? I'm just as shocked as you that there's 2.1 million for conferences and seminars in 2024.
Yeah, it's mine. Vince Blennis. Thank you, Chair. Through you. I think, Honourable Member, we are cognizant of the challenges. I think as what the Chair has mentioned in her opening remarks is that there were strategic things that we came and we found as the new board. We found all these different challenges. We have identified all of them and we've listed them. I think some of the stuff that you are mentioning, rightfully so, has been equally a concern to us. And just to, not to appease you, but to let you know that these items have been listed by ourselves, and I believe that through the forensic investigation, some of these matters will then be addressed accordingly. At this point in time, if the truth be told, we did not come prepared to deal with the specifics as relates to.
So you did not come prepared to deal with the specifics?
With regards to
yes or no
line items.
Yes or no?
The answer is no.
Didn't come prepared to deal with the specifics. I hope that when you come back for the National Film and Video Foundation, Mr. CEO, that you come back with the specifics, that you come back with line items. Because this isn't the only board that you're sitting on, we are well aware of that. So when you come back in a new board, you must come with specifics, please and thank you. I want to get back to my questioning, Chairperson. I then saw 5.5 million
May I
on
just
traveling.
ask with the interpolation, if one speaks, finish, just switch off your mic because I can't hear properly from the side.
Then I saw 5.5 million for traveling, thank you very much, Chairperson, and 3.9 million for traveling. How and why? Where were we going to? Were you going to New Zealand? You're going to Alaska? I'm very interested.
Honorable, it's the travel expenses for, different activities, which also a lot of it emanates from the BSA Awards, but it was a travel for the board, for staff, through different activities.
So in a year, board and staff, and there's 17 staff members. 17. Board and staff. And how many is in the board? 7. Right? 7. 7 plus 17. In 1 year, 2023, 5.5 million. In the next year, 3.9 million. Just on traveling. So let's go back and add it again. Chairperson, I'm wrapping up here. Let's go back and add it one more time. This will be the second last time we add it up. 5.5 plus 1, 6.5 plus 2.1, 8. 32% now spent on traveling and seminars and conferences. It's unbelievable, yes.
Thank you, Honorable Jacobs. Once again, Chairperson, on the 27th of August, we were here at Parliament, and one of our recommendations was this thorough, independent, forensic investigation. That's the only way, Honorable Jacobs, that will be able to reveal what was transpiring during that particular financial year. We were here and we did recommend it on our report. Hence, we would wish that it can be expedited. Because there's an issue there, Honorable Jacobs, that most of the people that are here, including me, we were not there. Now, and also the departure of our Chief Financial Officer during the month of February, made it more difficult for us, to dig deep in some of this information. Hence, we would really request that, this issue of this forensic, investigation be done so that we can know who are the culprits around this particular issue. That's just my response, Chairperson. Thank you very much.
I'll wrap up now, and then I just want to say, are you telling me that the previous board and its administration covered up so well that you couldn't go back in your accounting? That they hid their books under rocks that you couldn't go and find the books? That they hid their books in Google Drives that you couldn't find? That they hid their books inside of files online and clouds online that you could not find? Are you telling me that that was the case and you could not then prepare for this meeting line by line on that? Yes or no? Did they hide the books?
No, they didn't.
Then why didn't you look through the books?
It's difficult to know the amounts line by line in the income statements, but I think your comments are noted. We'll look into that.
Are they just noted?
No. They'll be actioned thoroughly. We'll next time we'll come prepared.
I'm looking forward to the outcome of the forensic investigation, Chairperson. That forensic investigation, I'm going to study it like it's Bible study on Sunday. It's going to be a fun time. It's going to be the best time, and I'm sure myself and my colleagues are going to have the most fun with that forensic report, and we are also going to have the biggest after tears after that forensic report. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Yeah, I just have to add.
Well, folks, you need to give me some idea when to think about this, man. Because we are trying to get him on the program, the two of them. We have some feelers out. We are trying to get them on the program because this is what you can do to a country. Remember now, Jamaica was up to 2 years ago was less corrupt than South Africa. But as a result of what's going on with our parliamentarians, Jamaica is now more corrupt than South Africa. South Africa is 41. Jamaica used to be 44. And remember, anything below 50 is considered very corrupt. Jamaica climbed up to 44, heading to that magical number 50. And guess what happened last year? We slipped 4. Jamaica is now 40th. South Africa is 41st. But you see what they're doing? No doubt, South Africa has corruption. I live there. I know these people. I know the society. I know it very well. It's corrupt. But they're trying. They're trying. The young people are trying. We don't see this in Jamaica. We don't see politicians holding public officials and other politicians accountable. We don't see it.
Right.
And we need to see it. And so to some degree I've given up on the dinosaurs, the old-time politicians, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. They're not going to do this. But the young people, the ones who are complaining, they can get in there, roll up their sleeves, and start doing the hard work.
Yeah. You know, Sir Rattigan, there is no way under the sun, and everyone in the chat, there's no way under the sun you can have $3 trillion stolen, missing, unaccounted for, chopped, gone, whichever descriptive adjective you want to use to describe the event that took place. Between a 6 to 10 year period, $3 trillion from the Treasury, and the Auditor General is unable to find any invoices, certifications, or contract signs, or you know, reports as it relates to um, expenses to try to justify where the $3 trillion have gone. And yet, this report came out, I believe, the end of the 2023. And yet, all of last year, 2024, now into this year, we have not seen them holding one hearing to find out the facts. I mean, if this was it, I watch a lot of congressional hearing in America, and the oversight committees, them are like bulldog, especially when they have the opposite party, you know, in trouble. Them go after them like boom, because they want to hold them accountable. In Jamaica, we don't have any accountability or transparency. Where did this a situation like $3 trillion from the Treasury? They should have hearings immediately once that news was broke, you know, from the Auditor General's finding. And yet today it's been swept under the rug. And then they came out and tried to justify that it wasn't unaccounted for. Them start playing with words, you know, to throw people off, when the truth of the matter is that we should resolve these issues. And, you know, where is MOCA and CTOC? They should have been investigating this thing. Don't make nobody say, well, the money was spent, but we don't have the paperwork yet. Foolishness. I mean, when it comes to taxpayers funding, there should be serious. This, when I work with the federal government in the United States of America, if we find any of our grantees in any type of financial irregularity, we have to write Capitol Hill. And then the congressman in that part of the state will write back to us and then tell us to restrict their funds. And then we restrict funds. We don't have these things in Jamaica. And it's sad in 2025, these irregularities, when you look at the, give me 30 more seconds. When you look at the Ministry of Education, $920 billion is gone. When we look at the Ministry of Health, $830 billion is gone. When we look at the Finance Ministry, $111 billion is gone. When we look at the Office of the Prime Minister, $12.2 billion is gone. And these permanent secretaries and cabinet secretary have not been drawn before a committee like that what we just saw. I mean, we have to clean up Jamaica, man, because when these money go missing, it's hurting the people. It hurts schools being built, students having equipments, teachers being paid, nurses being paid. It hurt hospital not having equipments and beds and medication. And yet, them don't have no oversight committee for the $3 trillion. And you wonder why we get passionate about these things. Because in America, them things are not happening without oversight committee. I dig down and I try to find out the root cause of where did the money go.
All right. Well, look, some solid points you've raised, some solid points we have to discuss, and it's going to take a lot on the part of the Jamaican people to get this right. But we can do it. But we just have to, you know, get that courage, get that energy. And also, if you don't know, this is a place you come to know. We are around here every Saturday, and we are provide you with the wherewithal to go out and hold government accountable. Now, we have Marvin here, What we're going to do before we bring on Marvin, because Marvin will take a break. We'll make you introduce yourself. We'll do a couple more things. We'll take like about a 10-minute break or so. Then we'll come back and then Marvin is going to talk to you folks. Marvin, go and have the floor. Marvin going to talk to you about cryptocurrency. He's going to give you a presentation on it. And I've heard bits and pieces of it. Very, very interesting. So you know where we go when we have guests around here. We don't interrupt them. So Marvin, I'll have the floor. Marvin will talk, and then we're gonna open the phone line so they can ask Marvin the questions that we don't want to ask Marvin. But before we do that, we have a couple of things we have to do before we take the break. One of them is this: you hear them come and them tell you, say the unemployment rate in Jamaica is the lowest it's ever been in history. People, that's a lie. That is a lie. Them say the unemployment rate now is 3.4, 3.6, and that it's the lowest it's ever been in history. I am going to show you now why they can't make that claim. They can say it's the lowest it's been since January of 2024. That's as far back as they can go. And you're probably asking me, well, why? I want you to listen to the people who put out the statistics. Don't listen to Rattigan. I'm going to play a clip now, and what you're going to hear Cliff Hughes trying to bait the person who runs Statin, trying to get her to say it's the lowest it's ever been. And I want you to listen to our answer. Here we go.
We as a country start to track unemployment numbers?
So we've been tracking the unemployment numbers for several years, since the 1980s. 1968, sorry. So we've been tracking unemployment for several decades.
Since 68?
We've always been guided by...
Did you say 68? 1968 or before?
Yes, 1968, sorry.
Okay, 77, yes. That's what? 67 years. No, less than that. 32 and 25, 57 years. 57 years. Yeah, since we've started to track. And these are the lowest numbers we have recorded.
So, as was said in your...
Hold on. Hear the question in Oscar. So these are the lowest numbers we've ever recorded. She's supposed to say yes or no. Right? Listen to her answer. I could go back and make it. Listen carefully to the question in Oscar and what she said.
57 years. Yeah, since we've started to track. And these are the lowest numbers we have recorded.
So, as was said in your article right before you came over to us, this is a new time series, and it's not comparable with the previous time series because the way that unemployment is being measured has changed. So it's not strictly comparable in that regard. Mm-hmm. Therefore, we have to take a deeper dive and look at what is happening currently in the labor market based on this current set of figures. Mm-hmm. So if you look at the number of persons, the employment to population ratio, for example, that tells you what percentage of the persons 15 years and older who are employed, and that's at 65.7%. If you look at the participation rate of persons 15 years and older, that's 68%. That's looking at 2 out of every 3 persons being in the labor force. Those are the metrics that we can speak to. Because this is a brand new time series that started in January this year, I wouldn't speak to looking at this as a record low.
Mm-hmm. Before we get to Wayne Chen, just for the listeners to understand, Mr. Latibadir, explain to us the updating that happened in the model.
All right. So it's not a model. It is a methodological framework for measuring. So in 2013, the International Labour Organization produced some recommendations on how we should update measuring unemployment in an economy. And we have adapted those measures in January of 2024. So what we have now is a slightly narrower definition of who is employed. So persons who are engaged only in subsistence work are no longer included in the number of persons employed. But also, when you talk about those who are unemployed, it's a much stricter definition. So before January 2024, you'd be counted among the unemployed if you are without work and if you are available or seeking, so either or. With this new recommendation from the ILO, you have to be both you have to be without work, but you have to be both available and actively looking for a job. So that is a narrower definition of persons who are considered to be unemployed.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, it's not comparable with the time series from before.
And in that respect, and tell me if I'm wrong, the time series before, if you were employed for what, 3-4 hours in the week, selling or whatever, you would not be categorized as unemployed?
So the definition, the 1 hour criterion remains the same. So as long as you're engaged in productive activity for at least 1 hour during the reference week, you are considered to be employed.
Mm-hmm.
However, when we look at...
Let me move this. People, when they hear it, when they hear it, oh no, hear it. The new methodology came into effect January 2024. And you what you say, so it's not comparable to the time series that existed before. So anybody going to tell you say it's the lowest it's ever been, they have to say it's the lowest it's been since January 2024. They can't tell you it's the lowest it's ever been in Jamaica because it's a completely different methodology. Why? Hear what she said. She said under the old methodology, if you were available, if you were not working, but if you were available or you're looking, then they would count you. She said, no, it's stricter. You now must be unemployed and looking for a job. So if you just gave up because you're just sick and tired, you can't get a job, guess what? You are not counted as unemployed, even though you're not working. Because the new methodology says that you must be actively looking for a job. So if they come to you, and remember, they have something called a reference week, which is the first week of every quarter. That's how they measure it. So if they come to you during that week and they said, you looking for a job? And you say, yeah, I look for a job. Then you are considered unemployed. But if them come to you and say, you're looking for a job, and you say, no, me give up, me not look for a job, me can't find a job. Guess what? You're not unemployed. So the unemployed rate go down. So don't make them fool, Do not let them fool the people who can't come back and go up on the YouTube and look for this clip here. You might try, so this is the lowest it's ever, and the lady said, no. The new methodology started a year and a few months ago. So when them come and tell you, say, this is the lowest it's ever been in the history of Jamaica, 3.6, 3.5, they're lying to you. And yeah, of course, if you work 1 hour direct, if you work 1 hour during the reference week, and remember, people, them not track you during the whole quarter, So from January through March, right, is 1 week them use, the first week of January. And guess what? A lot of people are working in the first week of January, Christmas or whatever it is. But there is 1 week them use for every quarter. Them call it the reference week. And if them come during that week and you work 1 hour, they say, well, you're fully employed for the whole quarter, right? And some people will say, well, them do that now in America, them do this, them do that, them do that. Yeah, but here's the thing that they're not telling you. They're not telling you that the record unemployment they're talking about, you can only compare it to January 2024. You cannot go beyond that. So now the unemployment rate now, I think, is 3.4. It was 3.7, I think, in January of last year. And so what they can say now is that the unemployment rate in Jamaica is the lowest it's been since January 2024. That is a correct statement. When them come and tell us it's the lowest, do not believe them people. They're lying to you. We could get one more story before we bring in my virgin now. Hold on there. Let me see if I hit this. Hold on the people.
The Jamaican economy is fiscally sound. No new taxes on the backs of the Jamaican people since the Jamaica Labour Party administration has come into power.
Another lie. Another lie, people. Another lie. And we're going to show now. We're going to show now. people, that's why we're telling us, come around here on a Saturday, you know, because we parse words. Words have meaning. We don't use words loosely around here. We're not like some editors of manifestos who just say whatever them want to say. When we say things, we can show you. I want you to listen carefully. I want you to listen carefully. The producer come. I want you to listen carefully to what this man has said. Hold on.
The Jamaican economy is fiscally sound. No new taxes on the backs of the Jamaican people since the Jamaica Labour Party administration has come into power.
That's a lie. You muted, sir. You muted.
You're going to ask him a question. Hold on. You're going to play this. I'm not going to ask him a question. You know. I'm going to ask him a question. The producer come and say, hey, you need to take a break now. But producer don't. I'm going to ask them question. You know. I'm going to ask them.
The Jamaican economy is fiscally sound. No new taxes on the backs of the Jamaican people since the Jamaica Labour Party administration has come into power.
All right. Let me move that. Let me move that. All right. I'm not sure something, I know. I have to play this. This little girl, I know. Hold on then.
Told you not to play with me because I'm not the one. Right?
Yeah, but I'm the one. But I am the one. I am the one.
Brielle.
That's how I do.
That's how I do. I am the one. That's how I do. And I'm going to show you something now. I'm going to show you something. Hold on there. Bear with me, producer Joan. Bear with me. How many of you remember this man and this speech? Because you know what? It cost him an election. Cost him an election. Here we go.
And I'm the one who will not raise taxes. My opponent now says he'll raise them as a last resort or a third resort. But when a politician talks like that, you know that's one resort he'll be checking into. And my opponent won't rule out raising taxes, but I will, and the Congress will push me to raise taxes, and I'll say no. And they'll push, and I'll say no. And they'll push again, and I'll say to them, read my lips. No new taxes.
People.
The Jamaican economy is fiscally sound. No new taxes on the backs of the Jamaican people since the Jamaica Labour Party administration has come into power.
All right. People, make we understand something. Here, George Bush, the father, said two things. He's not raising taxes. And then he said, no new taxes. They're two distinctly different things. I'm not raising taxes and no new taxes. Compare and contrast that to what the Prime Minister said. Prime Minister said, There have been no new taxes on the backs of the Jamaican people under his administration. No new taxes. Let me explain the difference to you. You see, if them say we're going to impose a tax on people who ride bicycles, because we don't have a tax on people who own or ride bicycles in Jamaica. That is a new tax. You see, if they say we're going to tax patty, if you buy a patty or tax patty, they might already tax it. That is not a new tax. That's an increase in tax. So when the Prime Minister say, no new taxes, you don't think, you don't hear him say, him not increase taxes. But that is not what him say. Him say, I'm not going to impose any new taxes. What does that mean? Means that whatever them are tax already, them can increase it. And them can come out and truthfully say, no new taxes, no new taxes. So people, be careful with the words of them politicians utter. You think you hear him say him not increase taxes. That's what you think he hear. He's not increasing taxes. But that's not what him say. That's what him want you understand. That he not increase taxes. But I am going to show you something now. Remember what I'm saying now? No new taxes under this administration. And you, my people, perceive that to mean him never increased taxes at all. Take a look at this.
Ministry paper 1717. There it is.
No, this is the ministry paper. And this is when I'm going to government, you know. So when I'm going to government, remember them going to government 2016, February 2016, right? This is 2017, 2018. Now, I want you to take a look at this. Remember now, you know, no new taxes. Look at what they say. Look at what they say. Look, the House is being reminded of the policy commitment to shift the burden of taxation from a system of direct taxes to a simplified system of indirect taxation. So they might tell you them now go give you no GCT, they might go hide it somewhere else. And here, my people, here is where they hid it. Here's where they hid it. Special consumption taxes. See there, increase as far as fuel is concerned. Them increase it. See, try to say no. Let me show now. See, try to say. The increase range from that. See, try to say. Them increase it. And so them increase it. See, try to say. See where they increase. See that. And these are all the things on the left-hand side. Them increase liquefied natural gas, ultra-low sulfur, diesel, butane, propane, gasoline unleaded 87, gasoline unleaded 90, automotive, diesel, heavy fuel. All of this increase. And see where the increase go there. But you probably say, well, a fuel and them stop this one. No! Them never stop. Make we go down some more. Look on this increase in alcoholic beverages. Remember now, it's not GCT, it's special consumption tax. Right? So them increase that. Look what them increase though. Tobacco. Sita. So, and see they might recommend an increase from to $17 a stick for cigarette, right? And them increase GCT on group health insurance. Let me see what else them increase it on. Oh wow! Look on this. Look on this. The question said other. I'm sorry, not other. Not sound like Magan. No, it's other taxes. Yeah. Remember now, we know him said no new taxes on the backs of the Jamaican people under the DLP administration, FEMA administration. Here it is right here. Increase in motor vehicle license and fees And you know tell me say people who no jump up and down when you hear this man chat them nonsense. And you know say to him, you know rub him out and say, you know, shouldn't use that word, rub out means something else. No, challenge him and say, no, Mr. Prime Minister, but what about these other taxes? What about these taxes?
Yeah.
What about these?
Electricity.
Right? And the electricity. But this was thing there, you know. This was see them show you how much money them expect to make from the tax measures, right? Not sure you hardly sure. All right, let me show you something else. Hold on. Let me show you something else. How many now know out there? A gunman. When I say gunman, I talk licensed firearms holder. Take a look on this. Look on the date. See the date? October 2024. Watch out. License, the renewal fee jumped from 12 to 20. And no tax, no raise pound. No tax, no raise at all, right? Everything good, man. Right? Everything good. Motor vehicle license gone up, firearms thing gone up. I don't sit down there and make the man tell no nonsense. He make him tell, make him tell, let me just move this. Make him tell no all kinds of foolishness. Let me see that one here. Hold on there. This is about Ministry Paper 2020. Okay. Then them the one, you know. Them the one with them do. Them remove GCT. Them change the rate for them friends. We have dealership because there was a problem with on the dealership. Them never get the incentives, and then them change it. Lie when them change it. 2023. Them change it so that them own car dealership can get it. See that? On the second sale of motor vehicles by registered car dealers because them couldn't get them never that there was no provisions for them to take for benefit from the law at the time. And so them come back and do it right now for them friend. Them come and do it for them friend. All of this is, but look at how people see one and all, you know. Them eliminate the general consumption tax on the importation of horses. Small ruminants and pigs, we understand that. That are goat and sheep, right? But horses for run thoroughbred racing, them take off the taxes for them rich friend them. I think at one point it was 40%, and then it went down to I think like 10 or 5, and then now it's 0. Now I want to know which poor man are bringing us in Jamaica. Man, tell me that. You not vote for them and them people that do things against your best interest. You not vote for them people and these people are doing things against your best interest. And them tell you how much money them lose, you know, when them give them tax benefits to them friends. Everybody has something to take a break. All right, let me just move this up. All right.
Sir, you talk about the electricity where them drop it from 350 kilowatts to 150 kilowatts, and now it's 7%. So them widen the pool, the net for more people pay taxes on utilities.
Right, and drop it, right. We never going at that yet, you know. I save that for another week, you know. And, you know, you can't give all of the people all of the things all of the time. You have to give the people some of the things all of the time, right? You can't give them all of the things all of the time. So we're going to do that because Marvin there, I want Marvin introduce himself. We'll take a break and then people, we're going to end the stream now because, again, if you want to see how the South Africans them approach the idea of accountability, that will be the first segment. And if you want to see what we do with the no new taxes and all of these nonsense, then you can catch it in this segment. So what we are going to do now, we are going to make Marvin come on now and make Marvin kind of prepare you, and then we'll take the intermission. We're going to go on for what time is on 12. Marvin, you can do your thing in about 3 minutes. When we say 3 minutes, just to kind of like prepare the people. And then what we are going to do, we are going to take a 15-minute break and we'll come back at 6:30 New York time. So we'll take a 15-minute break. All right. Marvin, floor is yours, sir.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much again to Sir Rattigan and your team. It's a pleasure to be here. You know, a very educational platform last week was my first boss for your program in Jamaican, colloquial word. I got an opportunity and I took it. And of course, the conversations that we've had outside of the air, we spoke about, my area of expertise. And, we spoke about cryptocurrency, which has been my area for the past pretty much 5 years. But in terms of the markets, Forex trading and you name it, I've been in the field for the past 10 years. Since 2015. I don't work for anybody. This is what I do. There is no school that's actually certifying anybody for cryptocurrency as yet, but it's actually a skill set that you can pretty much acquire by just applying yourself practically. I've done that. It can be tedious if you don't understand what you're doing, and this is why people like myself is there to pretty much steer my people, and my people, I mean my Black people, my Jamaicans, my Caribbean brothers and sisters, whether you are here in the Caribbean or you are pretty much within the diaspora. It is of course my pleasure to introduce what I believe can be a very tricky field if you don't understand it, the complexities. I enjoy teaching, I enjoy breaking it down, and you need to understand the do's and the don'ts. A lot of persons, they are tabooed by it because they keep hearing the horror stories of people losing monies. I have lost money, and we're going to be talking about that when you came out. You need to understand how much thousands of dollars I have actually lost just understanding the skill set, because again, there was no school where you go and learn how to pretty much invest. You just have to wing it or by the air, observe, read, research. And those are the things that I have done for the many persons that I will be talking to this evening. I am the living experience of what it was traveling without light. And now I have found the light, and I would like to share the light. I would like to make it a lot simpler for you to understand. I do have a registered business in Georgia. We got our registration last year, October, in the state of Georgia under the name Game Changers. And that's something I'm going to explain to you when I do come back. But indeed, it's a pleasure and a privilege. I'm excited. I currently have over 243 persons under my portfolio that I have taught the skill set that are with me. We have regular meetings. It's a private group. We can talk about it a little later also, but I am proud to say that, I am going to be one of the leading pioneers in the Caribbean. Currently is one of the leading pioneers in the Caribbean. Well, self-acclaimed pioneer. I was put it out there, but it's a pleasure to actually know that I'm sitting in a capacity that is going to literally transform the financial sector. Cryptocurrency is the new money. It is the way forward. You need to know what you're getting into. You need to understand what is being done in the back, that your government officials are hiding from you, what you can do to safeguard yourself. You don't need justice of the peace. You don't need government approval to actually participate in this market. You need to understand the scams that are out there, what to do to protect yourself. I have all of that for you. And you need to know which cryptocurrency are going to make you a real multi-millionaire within the next 5 years. I have that crypto for you, and I'm going to talk to you about it. Marvin Edgar, thank you.
All right, Marvin, thank you.
Yeah.
Folks, listen, this is where we're going to end it right now. We're coming back it's 17 minutes past 6. We're coming back at 6:30. We're going to take a short break, and we're coming back. So Marvin will sign back on. Pastor Ricky will sign back on, and we're trusting that all of you presently here will sign on, and you will go tell your friends and family and neighbors that they need to sign on to. So let me go to some music, and then we're going to do a thing. All right. So we join up again 30 minutes past the hour. All right.